We're in a constant state of distress. A constant state of distress. Well, wowee.
Wow.
Wowee.
Wowie.
Mamma
Wow.
mia.
Wow.
Mamma mia.
Listen, I love you very much, Kat, but you are absolutely making it the most difficult thing to move my mouse around because you're taking up most.
Are you talking to your cat at the start of the show? Are you? Is that what you're doing right now, Eggy? The show is starting and you're talking to your cat.
Most of my desk space right now. Look, this is what I have to work with right now.
No, that's the best way to start.
And she is so comfortable.
Can you
Yeah.
throw the cat across the room, ask for podcast starts? So it's just a glimpse of as it flies on your shoulder.
I will grip
Look at the
her.
cat.
I will, I will grip her by the neck.
Hello!
and I'll throw
On
her.
back wall.
Just kidding. I love my cat very much.
Wait, we do not condone animal abuse on this channel.
No, I promise. I love my cat.
And
I
your
would never
dogs.
throw her. I would never throw her against the wall with all my might, and I never have.
That's not making it better.
Yeah, we're really not.
I'm just saying what I wouldn't do. I'm sorry. It's just
You just let the cat sit there.
I wouldn't grab her by the tail.
Kalik,
and
if you're
swing her
listening to this,
around.
don't
Kalik.
put this in. We're
Kalik,
not starting.
do not put this
Kalik,
in.
don't put this in.
Oh.
This
Alright,
isn't
listen.
us. Okay.
Let's give him a good intro, okay? Starting
Okay.
now, go.
All I'm saying is I wouldn't grab her by the tail and swing her over my head like a flail.
Wait,
Okay.
I'll lie.
I don't think that was the assignment.
No, people can hear us right now. Like we're
Oh,
right now.
no.
I'm just saying what I wouldn't do,
Everything.
guys.
I didn't mean the cat
I'm
joke.
just
I
saying
didn't mean the
what
cat
I
joke.
wouldn't do. Okay.
But what you may one day do if your cat doesn't move, correct?
I'm just saying what I wouldn't do. Okay.
Okay, Kalik, cut right here. And Ryan, just do an intro, please.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another short rest. I hope everyone had a wonderful long rest. Good morning and or afternoon or night, wherever you are from in the world. Thanks for sitting around the fire with us today. Welcome to another session of the Arcane Recovery Short Rest podcast. Today, we have a very, very, very special, is something that you can already see on the screen what's going on right now, a very special session, an episode today. We have the lovely people, the party, hashtag ARC1 party members here today. We'll start with Eggy and we'll go around clockwise, I guess. Up at the top, our all glorious leader, our dungeon master, Eggy make a
Hail
bagel
the
face.
egg.
Yes. And Eggy, do you want to go around and say something about you? And then we can go around and everyone can introduce themselves.
Yes. All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Elijah, also known as Eggy online, basically. One thing about me is that I love my cat very much, and I would never harm her. Just set the record clean. No, but I also I very much I don't know. I very much enjoy D&D. There you go.
That's all you need to know.
I'll go ahead and pass it over to our third epic lad that is with us on most days, Daniel.
Hello, I'm Dan, producer Dan. In this campaign, I'm playing Caladon. That's my boy. He's cool. Yeah, that's who I'm playing. I'm very, very excited to be here.
He's cool.
He's cool, okay? He's cool. He's a cool dude, okay?
You're
Don't.
influencing people right now.
Yeah, I'm cool.
You are the coolest.
Yes, Caladon is a tiefling, as you can probably see on the screen. He has horns. I'm very excited to play. It's a character I've never really played before, and I'm excited to see how he interacts with the rest of the party. Who's below me? Is it Orion? We're going to the circle.
I guess we're going counterclockwise on the Twitch here. So here we are.
The lovely man himself who
Yeah?
gave the intro and always does, and he's my better half.
Yes, the better half of Two Gents Taxi Company.
Of course.
Yep.
I go on. I don't want to interrupt
Yeah,
you.
I'm Ryan, or Ryan, the voiceover artist. I'm playing Ramethus, a variant human monk. He is not as cool, although some might disagree because of his cadence and the way he carries himself and the way he acts and talks. He is not a very charismatic person. You can probably see his stat of a whopping 8 on charisma. He's not a talker.
Definitely not.
He's kind of a bit of a contrast to myself, but he will come into play with the other party members quite well, I believe. Everyone, I have not so sure about Spencer, but without spoiling anything, there's going to be quite the cool character interactions pretty early on. So please catch the start of the show. Don't miss any episodes. Be here forever. Don't leave.
Oh.
Gets Glock.
Christ.
But yeah, I'm.
What is going on with Dan?
I think he's getting his private. Were you sliding and acting like you were running?
That was impressive. So well done.
I'm on my chair. There was dogs barking, and I was picking up on the stream.
So you were shooting the dogs?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
more animals. I'm sorry.
I was just closing my window. I was closing my window so you wouldn't hear them as much. Okay.
There's a lot of
ignore it.
questionable.
Keep the ball rolling, guys.
Passing it on
Stuff so far.
counterclockwise on the Twitch chat. Spencer. Because
Is
we're
it
saving
me?
the best for last, someone who hasn't been on the show yet.
Yes, so me. I am not the best, and I'm not last. I am mediocre, apparently. I am Spencer, also known as Lancelot, and I'll be playing the character of Caspian. There's a saying, no man is an island. If you said that to Caspian, he would probably punch you. Because he is of the view that he himself is an island, and he doesn't need anything else. He believes he's incredibly cool, and well, he isn't very cool. But if you told him he wasn't cool, he'd probably punch you. And the key thing about Caspian is really how he's going to interact with everyone and how they're most likely going to kill him. That's about it.
Nice.
And now for the character that nobody knows anything about.
And for the moment you've all been waiting for, Cyrus.
Whoa, welcome.
Hi, I'm Cyrus. I will be playing Nee. I'm really excited about Nee because Nee was inspired by my bipolar. So it's going to be interesting to see how that is translated. And yes, you're not supposed to know anything about Nee. That's the whole point. They live in the shadows.
I have absolutely tried my darndest to ask everything about your character from leaking. So
Great. I like it that way.
Which is good. It's because he just leaks other people's stuff instead. And
Yeah. Like all of basically everybody knows pretty much everything about our characters. We know nothing about Cyrus's character. Like when we ask Eggy about it, you can see him physically like hurting from having to hold it back. Like he really is trying to not let anything out.
it is a really cool character. I'm excited for everybody's character with what I've heard so far. You guys are in for a romp, to say the least.
A romp.
a romp, a hoot, if you would.
Guys, I can't hold it back anymore. Cyrus's character Nee is actually retired back to Brett Favre. In the cleric outfit.
What?
I'm sorry. I had to. I'm really sorry.
I don't want to play this anymore. I don't.
Why'd you do this to us?
Excuse me?
Dan, let's just go.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
The Europeans are gone. Bye.
See ya. Oh no! I'm so stoked for this. I'm beyond excited.
Yes, as a man.
WrestleMania up in here. Yeah,
Mhm.
basically, it's just the
Cyrus.
big event.
Can I ask, have you ever seen a
Yeah.
Monty Python sketch of the knights who say knee?
Yes,
Oh yes.
that was where the
Oh,
name
every
came
time
from.
I hear it, I just go, knee! Because it's you have to be a part of the sketch.
No,
Man, I could never
I can
like.
spoil this. I can spoil this about Nee. Nee's true voice, you as player, like your characters, won't hear it right away because Nee is very up here. Go Nee. Very high, very squeaky, like the knights who say Nee from Monty Python.
Can I also ask, does she have a liking for shrubberies or
Yes.
shrubberies?
Shrubberies.
What was it in Monty Python that they ended up changing their name? I could never get down what were the knights who say, and it's like a bunch of gibberish.
Oh, it was something very long, very complex.
It was very complex and long. Yeah.
If somebody can recite it off by heart, I think they deserve an award.
I think it's true.
Next thing we know, I'm gonna do it in character.
You're gonna end up changing your name to that.
Just that whole thing.
The whole thing.
Oh, I found it. They changed their name to the Knights who say Eka plep tang zoom boing adasum.
Oh, is that the full thing?
That's it?
Yeah. The Knights who say Eka plang zoom boing adahumsein.
Well, there we go, folks. We know now.
We know now.
Sounds so much better.
That's
better.
Nee's true name.
Absolutely.
But apparently they changed the name again to the Knights who, till recently, say Nee.
Yes.
So again, this is the kind of character development we're searching for, I assume, in this campaign.
I guess you could say that Nee is just built different. Nee's just
Nee
built
is
different.
built so
I
different.
suppose one might say that Nee is indeed built with different materials than most.
I don't know how to interpret that.
I know.
I mean, have you seen Nee's outfit? It's definitely
Nee a
not classic.
Warforged?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what really stuck me, because when the original like art where like it's all of our characters, because I only really like saw the face and I was like, okay, like what do they look like? Because they could be anything from the neck down. And then when the thing came out, I was like, they just look like a normal person wearing a mask. Like, what is this? I don't understand.
Looking spiffy in my suit.
Yeah.
And who knows? Even showing up Caspian up on Fashion Sense. He's a bard after all.
He's a bard.
Imagine that.
Most of his income goes towards his clothes.
I believe it.
That's
I
right.
believe it.
It is a aspect of myself that I gave towards a character.
The rest of his income goes towards keeping his clothes clean.
Yeah, that and saunas. It's a healthy
Socks.
mix.
Those
All
are
right,
important.
guys. So, how was everybody's past week? Kind of going over, how's everybody doing? Everybody's getting kind of antsy. The day is soon
seasons.
approaching. Next Saturday will be first
Really excited.
episode.
Like, I mean, this was like it's been a long kind of couple months for us, kind of getting everything together and putting basically this show together. It took a while, because we wanted to get it right. We didn't want to rush anything. But even before we even like started like full production, this was like talked about for so long, and now it's finally here, and it's like, oh, I just want to do it.
Yeah, this is one of the things I just want
Absolutely.
to play.
Let's go around with everybody and see what you guys are looking forward to most with the campaign. How about?
I mean, do you want to go the other way? Because I feel like I talked a bit too much.
Sure, bro. Go ahead and we'll start with Cyrus. See what you're looking forward to most with the campaign. Is there anything that you're super excited about, or that you're nervous about?
Oh, well, I'm nervous about everything.
That's my secret
But-
cap. I'm always nervous.
That's my job.
Nervous Hulk.
I'm super excited to be in a game with all of you. And not just a single one shot, but an actual long campaign. Because everyone in this group has experience as a DM, and you always learn something from other DMs as well as your players, and that influences your style. So I'm excited to see that from a DM and player's perspective. I'm excited to see how all of the players interact and how many of you can actually figure out Ni's secret before it is completely spoiled. And I'm truly excited to see how all of the characters play out.
Nice. All right. Well said. Well said. How about you, Spencer?
Well, as a long-time DM, I've never had a chance to fully flesh out a character, and I think being able to really improv with all of you, who I know for a fact can very, very skillfully improvise. That's really the main thing I'm excited for, to really build this character, maybe get you to hate him a tiny bit, all that kind of stuff. And I'm probably most nervous for actually making sure the character is built well, if that makes sense, making it three-dimensional and believable, rather than just, ooh, I'm ego.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I totally feel that. How about you, Ryan?
Well, I'm excited to actually play a monk. I know that seems basic. Monk is one of the few classes that I have never played before, not even in a one-shot.
Wow.
I've never played a monk before, and I wanted to go hard in the paint with making a character, I guess. Most of the characters
Interesting
that
terminology.
yeah, right. Well, most of the characters that I've ever made as a player, even if this were to be compared between my other Sunday night campaign as a player, where I play Scarlet, a tiefling rogue fighter, who's like level 11, and I've played her for a year and a half straight of a long-term campaign, and it's still going for like another year because we're supposed to go to level 20. Even like that's my bread. You know, she's like, I want to call bread and butter of character creation. But Ramethus has now like superseded already, just in pre-production alone, how much growth and like potential Scarlet has, even though her writing is mostly made as we go along. It's the most backstory I've ever put into a character, the most effort I put into character potential growth ever, and it's on a class that I've never played before. So there's going to be a lot of like weird dynamics to act out of a character this built different, I guess. But
Awesome, so different.
we're just all built different.
There's big expectations. Hopefully, it's not weighing on your shoulders as much as it is mine. And last but definitely least, I mean not least, sorry. No, last and definitely not least, Daniel.
I'm just excited, like kind of like what Siva said, to kind of play with everybody, because like this is gonna sound a bit mushy, but like I genuinely admire all you guys and your style, because I feel like I'm probably the newest DM out of all of us. I mean, like unless I think I've been playing for like 5 years.
I'm the newest one. Maybe.
Oh well, but like I've never really gotten a chance to play a character before, and a lot of my characters don't really have a lot of fleshed out backstory. Like compared to like my first character, Finbar, I had one kind of main thing that he did, and that he was rich, and that's all I played on. And I haven't had a chance to like fully flesh out a character, but like Cal, I genuinely adore him. Like if he was a real person, I would be his best friend. And there's so much like I'm excited to share with you guys about him, you know, because when you make something that you really love, you want to share it, and that's why like I'm kind of like I really want to play, because I really want to share this character with you guys and like create moments not only for us, but because we're live streaming this, for people to watch and kind of hopefully relate to my character or your guys' character. But like yeah, you guys are all great, and I'm just excited to be here.
Oh, that warms my heart.
So cute, Dan. God.
So
I love you.
I am so overjoyed to hear that. By the way, Ryan, if you're trying to speak, you are muted.
That's why it was so peaceful and quiet.
I was just confirming. I was like, so lovely. So thank you, Dan.
Yeah, so lovely. The thing I'm looking forward to the most, as weird as it's gonna sound, I am an absolute drama queen, and I I sound so fruity saying this, but that's fine. I absolutely I can't get Bo out of my head, dude. Like, my
We'll talk
Bo
about
is
it when
me.
we start doing
Yeah,
off-topic stuff, and we'll talk about it.
Okay. But I absolutely adore inter-party conflict at times if it is role-played very well, and everybody is kind of in on it. I think inter-party conflict can be really, really good storytelling. And don't this. I hope this doesn't raise any red flags. I'm not going to push you guys to have inter-party conflict or anything. But it's something I look forward to, kind of seeing your guys' personalities clash in a way, and seeing like through a narrative how you guys would come together to kind of overcome any sort of like imminent threat. I think is going to be really interesting. I can't wait to see everybody's personality and how their backstories come up and how they react to things. And I can't wait for you guys to see the story I have worked out for you.
I can't wait for you to kill all of us.
My poor little being.
Shall we place bets on the first
I do tend
die
to
will
play.
be?
I do tend to make things a little hard. I like to challenge my players a lot of the time. So if there's a couple sessions where you guys barely scrape by in a fight, it's because I knew you could handle it, and it would take everything that you got.
Is it like when
like
you throw a toddler into a swimming pool?
Yeah.
I made. Anyways. That's my piece on it.
Yeah, I think Spencer was saying who's most likely to die first.
Who's most probably him. Probably Caspian.
What's everyone's AC again?
Mine's pretty good. I mean, like
Caspian's AC is 13.
I got an 18.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have disadvantage on spell.
I think mine is.
Yours is 17. That's like high for a druid.
Yeah, I have high AC. I think because I have something to do with like my tiefling thing. Well, I just have a crazy high AC.
Druids don't use like wisdom or anything for their AC, right?
I don't know. I'm like I was shocked when I found out I had 17 AC.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I never said what Cal was. He's a druid. I never played a druid before. You guys all said your classes, and I was like, oh, I know.
Oh, that's just as a preface. Just as a preface, the 17 for Caledon is because he's wielding a shield made of wood.
Oh, I do have a shield. That's correct.
Yes.
There you go. A druid with a shield. You should do a wooden shield and set it on fire when you charge people.
Yes.
There's a lot to do with this character.
So Caledon is wearing medium armor with a shield, not light.
I don't think I'm wearing any armor.
Did you forget to equip it?
Oh no, I am. I
am. It's just that bad.
I promise I am not a murder hobo DM. How dare you? But technically, isn't a DM supposed to be a murder hobo to bring out the best in the players and the heroes? Right?
No, I don't consider myself a murder hobo DM.
A murder hobo of the enemies, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you guys are level 3. Prepare to fight a lich. Is all I can say.
Oh yes,
when it breaks time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should do like Mad Libs with our characters. We should find like a Mad Libs and just have Eggy answer them. Like just like some simple Mad Libs, like which character is most likely to, and Eggy give us some like just I'll look it up and I'll figure something out.
Continuing the theme of who do you think's gonna die first? I think it might be me. Because every time I try to make like a really cool character and try to make them last, they end up dying.
Will that be a heroic sacrifice?
Yes, always.
Stupid.
But like a heroic sacrifice that might have not been essential.
Ryan, I swear up and down, I will white horse your character all the way until the end. You have my word.
Well,
I like how we kind of coined that term a little bit now of white horsing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a really really solid term to kind of sum it up, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Where you kind of just put plot armor on someone and like do a huge like DM insta in the moment con.
Yeah, well, it's different from plot armor because you don't have it since the beginning. It's usually whitehorsing usually comes around when the party or when the DM like super fucked up and one of the party members is definitely about to die, and the DM is too scared to commit to actually killing a player, so he inserts a white horse.
As someone on a white and a knight in shining armor on a white stallion metaphor, but like a white horse just means like it could be anything. Like, oh, lightning strikes down from the thunder, from the storm that's happening right now and strikes the last foe dead in front. I was like, yeah, that's a white horse.
Yeah, I've had trouble with being white horsed and with white horsing in my early days as a DM.
Have you
As
learned,
a young boy?
Have you learned from me that I do not do that?
No, I like knew it instantly after
It was one
that
of those
it
sinking.
was a horrible
Yeah.
mistake. Yeah, I'm like, why did I do that? That's so crappy.
I feel like when you white horse, as long as you make it so it's in line with your story, it's fine. It's when you like decide to like retract things and you're like, oh, I'm fixing it this way, or like it doesn't make sense for someone else to be casting like counter spell against the enemy that you're facing, because that's a very obvious thing.
Yeah.
If you just happened to gift your party with some relic that they completely forgot about until like that like instant,
yeah, like it isn't a bad thing to be like, oh, you have a magic item you've completely forgotten about, which would be really helpful in this scenario. Because
Exactly.
I think the characters aren't what players, the characters would remember.
My scenarios of white horsing were very I don't know, say like impromptu, I guess.
Yeah. It's
improvised.
Yeah, I've pulled punches. I've pulled punches before. White horsed and pulled like a normal just hold back. I try to get out of the tactical mindset sometimes of a DM, even though when I'm in the middle of combat, I always got to be super like advantageous against the party. Like I see a map, someone knows exactly how long 50-foot range is for a spell. I try not to do that too much. The times that I have pulled punches when it's an enemy, like even like there could be 6 rounds of combat of just absolute slaughter on both sides. There could be that one enemy still like that pulls punches that realizes like late that like I'm not a murderer. And I've had that, and I've had a party that just outright kills them, even though they pull punches at the end and to say I surrender or whatever. And no. I think we've had that with Spencer's campaign as well, with the White Wings.
Yeah.
The White Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of malicious folk they are. Do we want to go around and share our worst moments of white horsing?
Oh well, yes. We also have to ask what because we've done this with everyone except Cybus, because Cybus is new to the show. We should ask her first.
Oh yes.
What was the favorite character you've ever made? Or what is the worst mistake you have ever made as a player DM where you just instantly, like, huge regret?
So that would be like all of that. One character.
Oh, I know who you're gonna say, I think.
I don't know. So I like to play artificers, okay? Just cap it. I love artificers. I love the class. My first character I ever made as a player was called Yorilorifil by Lore, and they were a complete mad scientist, and they had a little homunculi named Feeful, and they had a caffeine addiction, and they didn't care what the rest of the party was doing. They were off researching, and it was a very like Magitech world, and they used to be one of the head scientists for like the Empire, and then they learned the Empire was doing sketchy shit, and somehow they decided to leave because they weren't getting enough funding and joined the rebels because they were going to get more funding.
Arcane
And,
Rebels. So do you know?
no, Lore was always a high intelligent person. Like, if there was an intelligence check, they won because they had like a plus 10
Jesus.
intelligence.
What level was this character?
We started at level 7 and Lore died at level 9 because of their stupid
Wow.
curiosity. They went into a room that was like locked, and they found, like, I rolled super high and I unlocked the door and the door sealed shut. And then Laura's like, I'm gonna talk to the room, trying to find out like what's in the room, and then had its soul stolen away. And it met a lich. Tried to convince the lich that no, they should be business partners because, you know, you like dead things, I make things dead. I put things back together. They were part of the Simic Combine. That helps with background of lore.
Mm-hmm.
No,
the
they
Simic
had
Combine.
little
gotta
tiny
love it.
people. Yes. Yes. And another thing that they were doing for the government was making Simic hybrids. So I had another party member turn out to be a Simic hybrid that I had created that I forgot about because.
Definitely mad scientist vibes for sure.
No, and Lore's accent was, yo ho ho, I am Lore. It is time to find out. I want to dissect it. Oh, there's metal, because their favorite spell was heat metal, and so they made a bag of holding, and they just picked up all the metal and would like fling it and then heat metal,
Oh, geez.
like get people stuck in like the Magitech mech suits and just heat metal that shit.
That's so volatile. Like, that is brutal to do something like that. That's literally like
But
hot pieces of shrapnel.
yeah,
I
but
have a
Lore
story
wanted
now.
the metal. Lore needed the pieces.
I have a story now to follow up with that. Now, Aggie would know him. He's a pretty new person. Speaking of artificers.
Yeah.
Which, when it comes to making characters that are supremely fun to play, I have so far had the absolute most fun mechanically with my artificer Iroh.
Yeah, Iroh in Ducky's game setting, super like 2 peas in a pod.
He is an artificer gunslinger multi-class.
Ooh,
He builds guns,
that's nice.
and then he cranks the knob up to 11 with
Mhm.
them. He was a member of a very notable thieves guild before he got picked up by a certain I don't know, wealthy affluenter that the party is kind of currently tracking down as we speak.
Randall.
No, not Randall. He got picked up, in his backstory, he got picked up by a certain individual that we are kind of loosely in cahoots with. Whether the party wants to not kill them is up to them.
I see.
But Iroh, he has a metal prosthetic arm on his right hand. It goes from his all the way from the hand all the way to the elbow. That's where he keeps his artificer tools, his thieves tools, and his tinker's tools.
Do they come out like an iron blade kind of thing, like a Swiss Army hand?
Well, it not only does it like come out of like the arm, where he has like a shelf of like a small peen hammer, punches, owls and picks,
Screwdrivers, stuff
and
like
screwdrivers. It goes back into his arm. He also, the tips of his fingers hinge off, and he has like little thieves tools that he uses his fingers in the locks.
That is so cool.
That's so cool.
That is so dope.
He also, since he's an artificer, he knows a few cantrips. One is mending, which he takes out. He goes rocker style, and he makes an arc welder between his fingers and mends that way. He also
He
knows.
also did the Shaka Bra.
Yeah, he also knows. He also knows shocking grasp, which he overloads his arm and grabs someone and electrostatically discharges from his prosthetic arm to do shocking grasp.
That is so dope.
Enough.
That is such a cool character. Like that's giving me like Winter Soldier mixed with Tony Stark.
He's
Mhm.
like he's like such a tinkerer, and like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, for some reason he also gives me like Mad Max vibes with like
Oh
the
yeah.
way he
No, he
looks,
is always greasy, oily,
got, like,
steampunky. He
blast
has
back
these
hair.
workers goggles on, which is his second artificer infusion, which is goggles of night, which
Right.
Ducky has also allowed me to use that as the find familiar focus for my homunculus servant to see out of his eyes. He would throw his
Yeah.
goggles on and he can see out of his homunculus to cast touch spells through, which now he knows cure wounds.
Yes.
So what
I
he
love
has
using that.
Yeah, so he has goggles of night. And when he like throws them on, like all of a sudden he just knows his violent shots, his dead eye shots, because he uses like a tracker in the goggles to like help hit his shots.
Mhm.
He also knows blasting shot, which he opens up the middle two fingers here, and it's a concussive blast of an underbarrel of the gun that he's wielding to push people 10 feet back.
little gun barrel fingers, man. Like
Yeah, little gun barrel fingers. He's like, all right, you know, it's he would like detach them. It's really whack.
it's so cool because I've always been a fan. For some reason, I've always been like a huge fan of characters with false arms
Mhm.
that they could like use. Like, of course, in like anime terms, there's like there's Edward Elric,
Mm-hmm.
who has
Yeah.
the metal arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Guts from like Berserk. He has a cannon in his arm, which was part of the inspiration for Balrog's cannon arm as well. Like a blaster, and I don't know. There's dudes with false hands always really really cool to me. And that's another thing. Like now that Iroh joined the party, it's gonna be such a good relationship between our two characters. I also
Mhm.
play in the campaign with them.
Yeah, he likes body modifications. Balrog just wants to be stronger.
Yes, and Balrog knows he can achieve this through body modifications.
I want to also note the homunculus servant. As far as where the lore is right now, this might be pretty interesting to some of you. But the homunculus servant, you can create a tiny
Mhm.
one. So one of our characters was getting a metal skull implant that has it's made out of this arcane metal, so he can concentrate on 2 spells at once.
Mhm.
And some other thing about drawing
That's
power from
strong.
it. Yeah, to
That's
some
very strong.
some other weird thing as far as like plot thing for Ducky that he has with him that we don't really know too much about yet. But this metal skull during the surgery, Iroh stepped in, and while the patient, our party member, was incapacitated, blind and deafened because all of his eyes and ears, everything was taken out of his old skull. Iroh slipped in something into the new skull, his tiny homunculus servant, and he casted mending on it to weld it on the inside of the skull on the nape of the neck. And Randall got put back together. I can cast Shocking Grasp and other touch spells through my homunculus servant up to 120 feet away. I have also put wires, spliced them into his ocular nerves, so now I can see out of Randall's eyes and hear out of his ears up to 120 feet away. He is now my familiar. I can cast spells through Randall or at Randall. So we did this test of I casted Cure Wounds, which felt like a morphine injection on the nape of his neck from my homunculus that I welded on the inside of his metal skull.
That is crazy. That is so insane. I would never have thought of anything like that.
Yeah,
And
it's especially
God,
great
it's
because
so
like
good.
Ducky, he just allows this to happen in his campaign because of the type of world state he's running. Like this is all like within complete possible reasoning in Ducky's world state. Like everything that we do with our characters in there is like he has like this like crazy. We're in this city of like crazy cybernetic like industrial like ingenuity and there's so many craftsmiths that just like give people these metal limbs or they do these like metal skeleton implants. It's awesome. Yeah.
See, but that's
So I
really
wrote it.
important.
It
It's really
is,
important
yeah.
as a DM, though, to let your players do those crazy things as long as it's within the reality of the world.
The stuff that we're able to do so far, it's getting like being able to concentrate on 2 spells at once, or every time I punch as a monk, I get to also get shock and grasp damage because I have electric coils mounted on a pair of metal arms that every time I punch, it electrocutes them. My character has 4 arms in this world state. A monk, a Goliath monk barbarian with 4 arms. So really,
The Furious
horrible time.
Georges.
Yeah, and he also has these creative touch. He called these the Furious George arms, and it's absolutely great. And the way he describes everything, like it required a spinal tap to mount to my shoulders, and there was a chance of my character actually getting paralyzed from this like surgery. So far, he succeeded, and now he gets to use 4 arms. It has a lot of really cool features. Like I have the grappler feat. But if I am able to pass on the athletics check to grapple, it automatically pins them for me. So then I can attack after that, which is super, super important.
That's pretty cool, actually.
It's absolutely thrilling, man.
There's also a second health risk, Egg, is that you still have an organic heart. And that
I still have an organic heart. That's the thing. Balrog will be going down the line, and I was talking with the DM, and I was wondering if it was possible to do this pneumatic pump system that, similar to Bane from Batman, in a way, how he always has that venom coursing through his veins. I took it kind of like from that concept, but it's a more like steampunk thing. So what it's going to have to do, a valve is going to have to hook up to my heart, and there's going to be this pneumatic like pump system. And what it's going to allow my character to do is fill a tank. It's like 1 tank worth of potions, any potion. This could be healing potions, potions of storm giant strength, and that's my goal with it. I want to fill an entire tank up with potions of storm giant strength and have 10 minutes of like that strength while I fight as a barbarian monk.
That's like a rage.
Like a rage, yeah, but like to that on top of raging.
Under the influence.
Yeah. My character is taking body modification to the absolute extreme. Him being a Goliath, I've been able to pick up dark vision from an ocular implant that I got on my face. Only one of my eyes now is able to see in like infrared, basically. He's like this crazy like monster Terminator vibe.
Yeah, like these characters sound like just so complicated, and like the way that he allows you to like do these things in this world it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because also as a DM, you can think about, so you have your heart that would be pumping pumping potions. You could use that as a mechanic to poison you.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. My character is so close to being like over the edge. That's Iroh.
Yep, that's the base reference.
Is there a way to bring him up on stream at all?
Oh yeah, I could. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we can show off both of our characters on stream for this. Let's meet the cast, and all we do is talk about our characters from a separate campaign. What's that?
Yeah, well, there's that.
We'll get back to our characters. I have some of the
we'll get back to
most likely to things here, so we can come back to that once we show characters.
But it is important for people to understand, like, we're not just doing this to just do, like, this is not all of our first characters. Like, we all are very invested in
We're experienced DMs, all of us, and like the goal for this kind of arc thing is that every time a story arc ends, a new DM will take
exactly.
reins.
Yeah, it's a
collaborative effort from all of us. Like all of us at some point will have a chance to DM a campaign in this world and in this kind of timeline.
It's alternating. I plan on getting Balrog here. I got him commissioned. This is a commissioned piece of work. This is canon of what he looks like 100%.
Yes, I've seen that.
And I plan by the end of the campaign, I'm going to get him recommissioned by the same artist, but with all his body modifications.
Ooh.
So you'll see him with like a Terminator eye, 2 more arms, and just like a bunch of other crazy stuff on him.
Is
Excited to see that.
Giovanni, right?
That's Giovanni, yeah.
Giovanni.
Rare, so we just had him on last episode.
And
And here is Iroh, the absolute mad lad of a tinkerer.
He's actually like he looks a lot different than I thought he was gonna look.
But see, that's really interesting, though. Like when you have an image in your mind when someone's describing the character, and then you see the picture of them.
Right. I love the steampunk vibes that he gives off. Like, it's really cool. Like the tattered trench coat and the goggles and everything, the pistols. I think it fits super well.
And like I was saying, like having like a visual representation, like that's why I love the art for all of our characters, because it gives everybody like a very strong visual representation. And even in the cover album, like it shows and it gets people like used to what the characters look like, so that when all of us are doing things in character, they have a visual representation. Which is why like I'm like when I'm creating characters, I very much lean on like the visual aspects. You know, like in here on the cover, you know, you get to see everybody's like full body, and even the way that they're positioned shows a lot about their character as well.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, like with Caspian, though, he's up against the tree. You know, Ramethus is on the ground, and then you know, Cal, of course, is infatuated with what this wizard is saying, so he's leaned in.
Yes.
And then you have Nee kind of mysteriously leaning in the background.
You know. Yeah, I want to go over and talk about this piece because, like, is it just me, or do you guys also like go back and look at this constantly, all the time?
I look at it all the time.
Just all the time. I'm like, damn, this is so excellent. Just like a beautiful piece. Everything about it. You just pick up what the characters' vibes are. You know, you can tell that Cal is just like so interested with this like weird wizard. Ramethus, is that how you pronounce it? Ramethus. You can tell that like he thinks that the story's amusing, but you can tell that he's kind of a quiet fellow, you know. Caspian, he got kind of a cocky smirk on his face. You know what I mean?
He's probably thinking he can tell this story better.
Exactly. That's all I can think of is like, you know, he thinks it's amusing, and then Nee is just like, you know, he, she, them. They look interested. It's just like you can't capture what their facial expression is. It's perfect.
Next thing you know, I'm gonna roll up with a helmet.
Well, I mean, if we want to go through some of these most likely things, that way we get, like the audience and kind of us can kind of get to know things about the characters. We'll have Eggy because Eggy knows the most.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of go through a few of these, and you can kind of you don't have to explain. Just give an answer. So out of the characters, who's most likely to win a Nobel Peace Prize?
Out of the characters who's most likely to win a Nobel Peace Prize, I would say that it's probably a toss-up between Ramethus and Caledon.
That's fair enough. That makes sense. Who is most likely to live on an island by themselves?
Nee, absolutely, without a doubt.
Who is most likely to remain single forever?
Caspian. I answered for you. I'm so sorry.
I don't know. I think Nee might be the one that's
Nee is a pretty good contender for that. It's kind of a toss-up between those two.
For the memes, Caspian, but realistically, probably Nee.
Yeah, realistically. Who is most likely to be arrested for being too intoxicated?
Caspian.
Oh, sorry. Even I was thinking like that's my first guess.
Dude, this is for sure.
Who is most likely to become the wealthiest?
It's probably Caspian, honestly. I could see it being
he may be the wealthiest to start with. That's going off what I don't know about other people, but he may be the wealthiest to start with anyway.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tough one because
he doesn't understand money. It's definitely not me. It's not me.
Who is most likely to retire to a desolate farmhouse?
Cal, for sure.
Who's likely to live the longest?
I would say probably Ramathus or Ramathus if we're not going off of like memes like I made a cool character, he's definitely gonna die. I would imagine that it would be him for sure. I feel like he'd be the most careful.
What do you think about that answer, Ryan? Do you think Ram will live the longest?
If we're not taking how I play combat into consideration, then yes, I do think he will live the longest. The way that I want his character to be as a monk, I think he will be Timeless Body. I just
Nice.
know that he is. Yeah, if he lives long enough, he is going to be a Timeless Body monk.
Who is most likely to live in the wilderness?
Oh, Caspian for sure, 100%. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah,
He's a wilderness man.
Oh
honestly though, between I want to say Caledon, but I feel like Nee would also Nee might be kind of interested in.
But I feel like
Caledon niche ship.
Yeah, definitely Caledon though.
Well, I think it like Nee
long
and
as
Cal
it's
would do it
dark
for
and
different
dreary.
reasons.
Definitely, it would be for two super different reasons for
Yeah.
sure.
Like Nee's going there to get away from people, and Cal is going in there because he just likes being there.
Yeah, because he's a nature loving boy.
Who is most likely to write a book?
Caspian.
Yeah, it would be an
I feel like Cal
autobiography.
would.
It would be an
I feel like Cal would
autobiography.
write a book.
Life of Caspian.
Like I feel like Caspian would write an autobiography about how cool he is, whereas Cal would write a book about how nice one particular tree is.
The
He's
theory
gonna
of
write, like,
trees.
the theory
Yeah.
of trees, or a
Can
bird
we-
book.
Can we probably predict that Caledon would use Speak with Plants a lot as a third level spell
yeah.
Like being a tree.
instead of
All the
Revivify?
time.
Speak with Plants.
Speak with plants.
Ramathus would probably write like a book on his teachings.
Wholeness of body, some kind of like meditation Zen book.
He becomes like one of those weird health nuts that starts like some sort of like cult like group.
Keto diet.
Yeah.
Who out of the party would most likely become the next president?
Caspian. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's those character traits that lend themselves to politics.
But would he be a good president? Absolutely not.
I think so. I think he
Probably
would.
Caspian. Yeah, I feel like he could get political.
He isn't as bad as you think he may be.
Catching a lot of heat today, Spencer. You feel
Yeah.
all right over there.
I'll just do one or two more. Who would be most likely to win the lottery?
I feel like Nee, probably.
The most unlikely person.
We probably would.
Yeah.
Like the person, it would be ironic. That's the reason. Like the person who would do the least with it would be the one who would win.
Again, Nee doesn't understand money.
Yeah.
Not very smart. Has a really hard time keeping themselves together. They'd probably win it.
Okay, and one more. Who is most likely to throw the first punch?
Ramathus.
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 Yep. That's what he does. He already throws the punches. I actually have a pretty interesting game we could play. That's based off of all of our stats of our
I
characters.
have a pretty interesting game that's based. I'll leave it at that.
It's based as Fook. So we're gonna go around and we're gonna all start with strength and go around, then all dex and then intelligence, wisdom.
Yeah, let me pull up my character sheet.
Is this like Top Trumps? Have any of you ever played Top Trumps?
Trumps, but with our D&D characters. Yeah.
Should I also play with my character for ARC2?
Yes. Without
Alright.
spoiling too much. So we'll
He's
start with
right.
Aggie.
Nice.
So we'll start with Aggie and we'll start with strength and we'll go around. And I want you to justify why your score is the way that it is.
Oh, I have to give it okay.
Justify it. Why is your stats the way that it is? I need you to sell
God.
it. I
And
need
not spoil my character. Okay, I got this.
you to sell it of why your strength score is the way it is, and we'll do that for all of the scores. So
Without
we'll
going
start
into too much backstory.
Yeah,
Okay.
without trying to give too much away. You can't say just cause.
Yeah, you can't say just cause. But we'll start with Eggy. Strength. Eggy, first off, what is your strength score?
So for ARC2, which we'll be playing when Orion is the dungeon master, his strength is 8. For my baby boy Anders, and it is 8 for the sole reason that he is not much of a fighter. He I don't know, I guess you could say he likes to take a more like political, not political, a more peaceful approach, but not because he holds peace as a higher virtue. It's because he's scared to fight anybody physically.
That is
Okay.
very, very that is very on the nose. Knee, Lavis.
All right,
What is your strength score? Your strength score is 9, and why?
9.
For a for
Um,
your first, you have a cleric, a level of cleric in you, and you have a 9 strength. Why is this?
So knee is a 9 because they're not very old. I mean, they're old, but they're not very old. Time is a concept that they really don't understand, and they really don't understand having a body and using it.
Okay.
Okay. Doesn't
Fair
know
enough.
how to use it.
Doesn't know how to use it. All right.
What is body?
They're not proficient with their coordination and athletics. All right. Oh, the lore master Caspian.
See, his strength is 11, so
He's
slightly above
stronger.
average actually.
He acts like
Um,
such a posh boy, but he's
and it's-
stronger than the last.
The thing
two.
is, Caspian doesn't have a job, so he spends his day doing the things he needs to do, getting his hair carefully disheveled for about half an hour a day by the barbers, going to the tailor, sauna, all that kind of stuff, and that means he has enough time to do about half an hour of exercise, which may be snooker sometimes, other times maybe just a boat on the water. But he likes to keep somewhat physically fit because that's about all he can do in a day.
for self vanity reasons.
Yeah, he isn't a fighter. He just likes the pump.
He works all his glamour muscles.
Yeah.
It's only
his,
for
his, his
aesthetic.
cheek muscles are so defined.
Yeah,
He
he's
does,
just
yeah.
like,
Very defined cheek muscles.
All right. For my character Ramethus, he's a dex-based monk, is most straight dex, but he does have a little bit of strength to him with a 12, with a +1 strength. Mainly because he grew up working since he was a teenager in the lumber mill. So he has a bit of build to him. That's just how he was raised. Raised to be the strong one. And even after he stopped doing, physical, like raw labor activities, it doesn't really get lost. It doesn't really diminish. So he has a little bit of strength to him. It's not over the top at all, but it's one of those moments where it's like, yeah, I did wrestling in high school, or I was like, oh yeah, I did deadlifts in high school. One of those moments.
Mm-hmm.
He is not out of shape. He's just fit enough.
Nice.
Interesting. All right. He's just fit enough. His
Yep.
strength doesn't lie in punching hard, it's punching fast.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah. My strength is also a 12.
You're so weak.
This is the weakest
We're
part I
all
know.
weak. But for a druid, and like Cal is quite a big guy, like he is quite muscly, but it's all for show, because as a young kid he like helped his mom out a lot. And we helped out at he worked for like a aviation, like the airships. He worked in the docks there. He's done a lot of manual labor in his small town. But he does like to keep fit, because he's out, he does walks, he
Mm-hmm.
carries like wood down from like the forests for buildings and stuff like that. He has his use, he's a big guy, so
Yeah,
yeah,
it's all
he's not
from,
super strong.
I'm
He's a
guessing it's
gentle
all from
giant.
from the hikes and the rock climbs in the woods, that kind of thing.
Like he climbs mountains without like gear. Like he's unafraid of the wild. Like he will put himself in danger going on an adventure. Like
I think that's my favorite explanation for strength.
Do
Yeah,
we
But
want
yeah,
to?
so far a very weak party. Just making sure to note this down. A lot less strength checks. Okay.
please don't.
I think Dex is pretty much kind of self-explanatory.
For
kind
sure,
of.
yeah.
As far as like, hey, either you're not very hand-eye coordinated, or you have lightning fast reflexes. But I think a very interesting one to try to sell is Constitution.
Actually, I would. I believe Constitution is interesting, but I feel like you can tell a lot by a character if you tell their intelligence or charisma.
We'll
I think
go
those
intelligence.
I like
We'll
charisma personally.
Yeah, we'll do those as well. We'll do intelligence, wisdom, and
But yeah, we can
charisma.
do charisma. Absolutely.
But we'll start with Constitution because we're kind of going down. Because I'm going down my D&D Beyond list, and Constitution's the next
Alright.
one.
So for my little baby boy, Anders here, he has a Constitution of 11, so a little bit above average.
Not very strong. Not very hardy.
My reasoning for this is he grew up a little bit more wealthy than a lot of people, but he never really pursued any sort of wealthy activities, I guess you could say. A bit more of like a bookworm of sorts.
Mind over matter.
Yeah.
Knee.
We're
sick-
chilling at a nice 13.
I mean, that's
With
not
our
bad
con.
at all.
That's not bad.
Again, getting used to this whole body thing.
Yeah. Is it because of the mask now that they just don't get sick because they have a mask on and that
They have
ups
a
their
mask.
constitution?
They're completely covered head to toe. You cannot see any sort of
They got
skin.
the Moderna vaccine.
Yeah.
I did. I just got the second dose yesterday.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
So yeah, we're all nice and vaccinated. We all know about that mask life.
Vaxxed.
But also, Nee's body was kind of just given to them, so they really didn't do anything to get that con. Really haven't done anything to like maintain it or change it.
Just kind of happened.
It's just
Just happened.
vibing. They're just vibing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting indeed. So, Spencer, for Sir Caspian, how hardy is this
Caspian.
individual?
Has a constitution of 12. Which I know, again, for a posh person, it sounds like it's way too high. You'd think they'd be sick of a faint drop of heart. But I think it's for two reasons. One, I was playing a bard and I needed some more hit points. No. Reason number one is, without going into too much backstory, he spent quite a bit of time on the water when he was younger. And obviously, being on the sea for extended periods of time, you have to develop quite an iron stomach, a resilience to the elements, calluses on your hands. So that's where most of his constitution comes from. But as well as that, he's gone through some emotional stuff. So if you're kind of putting emotional constitution into that as well, it's pretty hardy, resilience-wise, mentally.
Mm.
All right.
That you can appreciate. I think I have the highest constitution
Ooh.
as a monk. I have a 15 constitution.
Oh.
And it is only going to go up because I have plans for my ASIs to go into con as well.
Okay.
All right.
This is interesting. He was beat up a lot as a kid.
As one is.
As one is. He's also gotten sick several times. And having sickness around, let's just say there's sickness around his life, that plays a part into him building up his own immune system and his own resilience. Being knocked down a lot, hanging on threads, will always bring you back stronger. It's like breaking metal and re-welding it over and over again to where he is nothing but a weld. That's part of his constitution. So he has blacked out a lot. He has been near death once. He has been sick many times, and he's had an uphill battle for a while. So it builds him up stronger because of it. And that's his con.
Quite different to life in the sauna. Wow.
Caspian spends a lot of time exfoliating his skin.
Mhm.
He does actually, yeah.
Last but definitely not least, Dan.
I have 14 in Constitution, so slightly one less than the highest. But as a kid in his area, being a tiefling is kind of not really like it's kind of looked down upon, especially with his whole like family. There's kind of a bit of conflict there. But also like from being a kid doing a lot of outdoor work and then later on becoming a druid, going out on hikes, he's probably caught every disease and fought it off like it's nothing. But I think there's also a lot for he can grow a lot more. I didn't want to put it too high because I wanted him to have somewhere to go, and he's not perfect. He has things in his life that are getting at him. So it's also like it's probably more high in terms of emotional constitution rather than physical. He being out and about, he's thrown himself into lots of sticky situations, but he is very strong-minded and very sure of himself.
Nice. All right. We don't have to go to intelligence. I think for just one last one, maybe charisma, and then we can take a break after that.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
Or we can mix all three: intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. That's kind of
Okay.
Just pick the one.
mental.
Sure.
Yeah, these are all mental.
All right. So all the mental stats: charisma, wisdom, and intelligence. Anders has an intelligence of 15. He has a wisdom of 17, and he has a charisma of 17.
That is
Very,
all
wow.
very high.
Wow.
What kind of caster is he?
He is a sorcerer and wizard combined.
Definitely required to
yeah.
have all those stats high.
Absolutely. I got pretty lucky with the rolls. And he has these stats in the way of he is super, super careful with the way he wants to word things because he doesn't want to come off as a harsh person a lot of the time. But he still wants to get his point across in like the least violent way possible because, simply put, he's a little bitch.
So poetic.
Very.
Love
Nice.
it.
Very nice.
Knee.
All right, so Knee's Knee's mental. Intelligence is an 8, wisdom's a 14, and charisma is a 16.
Oh, okay. I mean, is that probably has to do with deception, though?
Yeah. Mainly deception. Knee used to hang out a lot in pubs and in like mercenary corners and just being one with the shadows. And so they picked up a lot of tips and tricks and learned to figure out what makes people tick and what's the best way to go about getting the results you wanted. Very much more street smart than book smart.
What's borderline charlatan-esque sociopath?
Borderline charlatan.
Yeah, borderline charlatan.
Going to go to a dark corner.
Yes, I need to learn how to say the right thing so I can get what I want.
You're the person that adventurers have to talk to in most campaigns.
He likes to be shady.
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
I wonder what Caspian's highest mental will be.
Well, intelligence and wisdom are both 12s.
Definitely
Because although you'd think he's not a very wise person, he is 200 years old, so as much as you kind of resist becoming wise, it kind of comes along with time. His charisma is a 17. And without trying to spoil too much of a character, that's mainly because he's had certain events in his life, which means one of his biggest fears is people realizing he's not interesting at all.
Mhm.
And he essentially just, when he tries to talk to someone, just makes himself appear interesting for as long as he possibly can, because he is terrified of a moment that breaks down and they see past it. So his charisma is literally just him trying to be someone he's not. And that's why it's 17.
That also says that
Nice.
says a lot, because all
That
of your
does
other
say a lot.
stats are incredibly average.
Yeah.
We have 3 12s and we have one like solid hard hit and 18.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm impeccably slightly above average. I graduated with all B pluses in high school.
That is just, yeah, summed up.
But let me tell you, I can talk.
Let me
Let me tell
you.
you one thing. I can talk for a while.
Let me tell you one thing and proceed to tell you 8 things. Oh, that's fitting. Man, I got 2 dump stats. An 11 intelligence and an 8 charisma. But a 16 wisdom.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't talk much. He doesn't know the right words to say. His vocabulary is very limited, but his mind just works at like 100 miles an hour. He can feel a situation more than comprehend the language to convey that situation.
Mhm.
He's very much an observer, and he will take actions, and like he knows how to act in certain situations. He can read into things quite well. But if he were to get interrogated by police and try to have him explain his reasoning of, his wise decision, he wouldn't be able to tell you anything that wouldn't be suspicious accidentally, because he just does not have a way with words.
Would
It's
you
like,
say that
"So,
Ramithus-
why did you beat that guy to a pulp?" It just needed to be done. It was all that could come out.
Would you say that Ramithus? So is he a little hot-headed? Do you think?
That's a bit of a toss-up. Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
If you asked Ramithus 5 years ago, it would definitely have been definitely would have been a no. Because he was more of a keep to himself kind of person. He had few people that he just spent a lot of his time with, family involving as well. But now, he definitely has a bit of brash, a bit of callous, and a bit of a temperament.
Right. All right, and Caledon.
Cal is a very kind of well-rounded person. My intelligence and my charisma are both 12. Cal, his wisdom is 14, mostly because he's very like people smart. Like his insight and his perception are really high. Mostly because he's grown up to be able to make quick judgments of people and kind of conclude their character by just looking at them. Obviously from his backstory, people have done it to him, so he's learned to do it to other people. And he's also quite good at telling whether people are trustworthy or not, because a lot of the time he's been decepted into thinking he can trust somebody and been backstabbed before. But
Such an innocent boy.
but also his intelligence is low because he's not really that smart. He struggles a lot with attention span. He kind of suffers a little bit from like ADHD, but also he's sure of himself in the fact that his charisma is a 12, but there's a part of him that is still kind of a bit shy about himself, because he's different than a lot of people, and he's grown up in a household where like everybody is completely opposite, and he maybe has like 1 or 2 people he's really close to, and they see the real Caledon, but then everybody else sees almost like kind of a different person.
All right.
Yeah, so like he'd be very close with his like maybe 2 people in his family, and everybody else just does not know who he really is.
They haven't gotten to know the real him yet.
Yeah, there's very few people who know what he really is and who he is.
That's on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people have judged him for how he looks and his like heritage, and how he was conceived in his family. So he has a very small group of people that he truly trusts, and everybody else he's kind of very suspicious of and very kind of closed off a little bit almost.
Love it.
Yeah, but yeah, the character kind of suffers a little bit from kind of social anxiety and a little bit from like ADHD and ADD. So it's very much a part of me as well. You know, there's a lot of me in this character. You know, in the way they express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
There's a bit of
Better
me
watch
and
out,
Ramithus.
You better watch out, Cassidy.
Caspian.
Oh, Caspian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
that's already a clash right there, I would say.
Yeah, because he is going to be trying inciting Caspian, like, well, what's his actual personality like? It's like, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
who
Stay away.
like he'll probably know if you're putting up
Very,
with the class, he
very
can probably tell.
standoffish. Two
You know?
very
Oh.
standoffish individuals.
This will be very interesting.
But also,
We
like
will-
my character is looking for somebody as well, so he's you know very specific about who he's talking to,
Yeah.
as to not like be caught out, you know. So
Yeah.
He's
He's
going
gonna-
to try
he's
to
gonna
deceive
lie.
all of you.
All
I
right,
think I
guys.
can already
You
see
got a
Do
group
we-
of liars?
moral compass of the party.
Moral
So
compass.
we're about an hour and say probably 15 minutes into the actual stream.
Okay.
We
Do
could
we-
probably call a break here.
Yeah, we can. I wanted
Yeah.
one last thing. This will actually be
Sure.
fast because this is kind of like a longer special anyway. Of all the skills that your guys' characters are proficient with, what is one that is your go-to?
ooh,
I know
Your-
it. I got
your
it.
Skill.
my go-to skill.
Yeah,
Ooh.
your go-to skill, and what is the bonus for it?
I would say for Cal, it's probably Insight +4 or Arcana +3.
You know what? I'm gonna throw you for a bit of a loop. What do you think Anders' best use skill might be, or the one that he's
Religion.
practiced a lot of?
religion.
Probably persuasion.
What if I told you that it was survival, and that ties into his backstory?
Survival is
okay.
his go-to stat. His go-to skill. That is interesting.
Ties into his story. You'll have to see.
So, Nee, what is your go-to skill check?
It
that
would
if-
be deception or persuasion, and they're both +5.
Ooh.
It's one of those moments where if the DM calls for a certain skill check, you are the first one to be like, "Yes, that is I."
I will deceive you. I will I will persuade you. I will perform to get you to see my way.
Me as a real human, mine is insight.
That's
Yeah.
a real-
Ryan knows across all my characters, I'm like insight every
Oh,
single
yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Yeah, we get enough of
You
that.
almost
Even
Spencer knows it.
Balrog wants to do
Even
intelligence checks and shit. I'm like, Iggy,
It's like
the
this
man,
guy's selling
the
you
man's
hats.
a prize
He's not-
fighter, a caged fighter. He has never been to a school. He has never been raised by parents.
No,
Stop
I
making
like-
him do intelligence checks.
The thing, I have intelligent check issues too, because my go-to, like as an actual person, is to investigate everything.
Hmm.
I'm like investigation. I'm like, my character has no reason to
Oh,
investigate.
you're definitely the first person that would die in a horror movie.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, the one that wanders off by themselves.
Mhm,
Spencer-
curiosity.
Spencer, what is your character's go-to skill check, and what is your skill check IRL?
My character is either performance or persuasion. Performance is a +5. Persuasion is a +7.
Ooh.
That bardic expertise is very nice. Anyway, in real life, let me just say, probably. Probably history.
Ooh,
yes.
okay.
Ooh.
Solid choice.
Mainly
All right.
because I am doing a degree in history, so
Yeah.
pretty constant.
All right. Have we covered everybody, or
Oh, right.
Nope.
This might throw you for a loop as well for Ramithus's skill checks. One probably for him would be stealth. At a +6. And personally myself, And as much as it would probably be insight, sleight of hand. Well, sleight of hand would be my.
A finger discount.
My IRL one would probably be performance.
I agree with you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
You
Theater-
literally have a
theater
guitar
kid,
on
let's
your wall
go.
behind you.
I literally
Fine.
have a guitar. Do you want me to sing?
Yeah.
Well, no, like,
Yeah, like, let's go.
Only
one
if it's the
thing-
Arcane Recovery Show theme song.
Oh, we're not talking about that. Yeah,
Eventually, we'll have to.
Yeah, Cal wishes if there's one that Cal wishes he was proficient in, it would be medicine.
Interesting.
That would be
Interesting.
nice.
That really
Medicine
makes
is
sense,
important.
and I know why that makes sense. Anyways, all right,
Alright.
that's everyone, I believe.
Short break. It is
Short break.
Alright.
Water
12:15
break.
right now.
Water break. Everybody take like 5 or 10.
Okay.
And we'll meet back
Okay.
up here. I will not be present for this part, so good luck.
Do you
Be right
do you want to send your script?
Yeah,
Yes,
drop your
I'll
sc-
go ahead and
yeah.
send the script right now.
Okay.
He used the
I'll be
yarmulke.
back in a second.
I use the yarmulke.
Oh no,
It's
he
my
left. Why did he
go-to.
leave? All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll just throw on the splash screen for now.
yeah. I'm gonna go get some water.
just saw the word bruv and it brought me physical pain. He says mate, not bruv.
Oh, bruv. What are you doing?
Oi, bruv. What are you doing in my end?
Alright,
eh?
bruv.
We are back.
Alright, you fucking bruv.
Can I ask if the word your batty man is included in the script?
No.
Oh, imagine if Cassim walked to me and he's like, oi, bruv, what are you doing in my ends? You're batty
Oh,
man.
you fucking batty man. What the fuck, bruv? You fucking bloke, mate. I'm a fucking...
You throwing me for a tizzy?
I'm gonna hit you right in the nan, mate, alright?
Hit you in the nan. Isn't that what Dan does?
You're gonna be in a discount when I put holes 3.
Alright, guys.
Dan, have you seen the cast list for the script?
No, hold on. I'm
We are
opening
visible
it
and
now.
audible again. Kalik, remember to cut the intermission out because we didn't talk during it.
We're back.
We are
Back
back.
again.
Alright, everybody, welcome. We are back from our little break.
Care to fill our lovely listeners in on what we normally do when we start our second half of all of our shows?
Alright, we've started a bit of a traditional segment here on the show where we like to do an improv script. One of us writes a script and the others know nothing about it until it's time to read it. For today's script, we're taking everybody's characters and they're all going to be played by a different cast member.
Oh,
And
damn!
Hate you.
And the theme of this is that what if I took the cadence of every character and I amplified it to be super horrible and overbearing.
You just
All right.
really like doing shitty things for good reason.
That's what I like to do. All right, everybody, go ahead and pull up your script and we'll go over who is who and what is what.
I don't know anything about the character I'm playing.
We have a title of this improv as well. This thing's got a title: "The Trouble in Little Rock Cavern."
Yes, sir. All right. Trouble in a Little Rock Cavern, and the cast is as follows. Nee is being played by Dan. Ramethus is being played by Spencer.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Caspian is being played by Ryan.
Yes.
And Caledon is being played by Cyrus.
This hurts.
This is gonna be
Doing
terrible.
justice. Do him justice, Cyrus, please.
How are these characters supposed to sound? I have no idea.
your friend, I will leave that up to you. I put little help in brackets in each line.
I see.
All right, and I will be playing one townsfolk who has one line, and also narrator. So without
generous.
any further ado, should
This is
we
gonna be
go
so
ahead
good.
and get started?
I suppose so.
Let's do this.
The
Okay, in
setting.
character.
4 brave heroes find themselves stranded in the middle of a deep system of caves. They were called here by the local townsfolk to investigate the recent disappearances of the miners here.
Oh man, this sucks. All I want to do is go prance in a valley of flowers.
He kicks the ground and a loose pebble goes cascading down a steep part of the cavern.
It's alright, my stupid little brother. You just gotta have, patience and shit. I would know. I'm a monk. I can do a backflip.
Ramathus proceeds to a backflip, but he absolutely eats shit.
Ha ha ha! Lamau, bruv, you got absolutely rickety wrecked, mate. My nan could have done a better backflip and she's totally 6 feet under. Hobbs!
Practice, patience, precision. It's
Fuck
alright.
you for
I know I
taking
can do
that
some
line
pretty.
from me!
I know I can do some
let
pretty
him-
sick flips elsewhere. This cavern is just slippery, bro. I promise, bro.
Shush! Open your mouths, you silly billies! There's something up ahead!
Nee points out toward the far end of the vast tunnels. There seems to be a person lying face down, a thick crimson pool forming beneath them. As the party advances, it quickly becomes evident to the party that this is indeed a dead body.
Damn, he got hella bit up. Sucks to suck. Oh well, let's press on, I guess.
Oh, shucks, guys. I don't know about this one. I think we should.
Shut up, fairy boy. You're just saying that because you want to go spend time with some fairies. Epic fail.
Shut up, you bitch! Fairies are fucking epic, bro! I'll fuck you up! Don't you trust me, dude?
An awkward silence falls over the group for a couple of seconds until it's broken by Caspian.
Shit, man, you gotta get some anger issues, like, for real, man. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Like, this dude totally got annihilated, and I'm not trying to go out of Tomb of Annihilation style, you know what I mean, bro? Fuck Christ. This dude be a lost cause, TBH. Let's peace out. Caspian.
Caspian throws up a peace sign and instantly disappears.
Why do we even travel with him again?
Everybody but Caspian.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Like,
We can even travel with him.
You can't hear you.
all right. Everybody leaves for the entrance to the mine. After clambering out, they see Caspian there in an argument with one of the townsfolk.
Well, I don't know. The dude was really dead. That ain't my fucking problem.
But it is. We hired you specifically for this.
Meh.
Caspian disappears again. The rest of the party just shrugs and leaves the town, and they proceed to get absolutely nothing done whatsoever. The townsfolk were incredibly pissed, and they proceeded to all take a blood oath to swear vengeance on the 4 travelers that totally ripped them off. The end.
What do you do to my boy?
So sorry.
Lamau, bruv, you got
Very-
absolutely rickety wrecked, mate. My nan could have done a better backflip, and she's totally 6 feet under, dabs.
My bro, you got absolutely rickety wrecked, mate. My nan could have done a better backflip, and she's totally 6 feet under.
I mean, I don't know how close any of those voices were to the real thing.
Some
Um,
freaking Caledon sounded like Julia Childs there for a second.
Yeah, like the only reason why I went high is because Siva said earlier on that Nee's voice is quite high. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just pick the highest note I can think of and just hit it.
Yeah, I didn't want to take away too much of your guys' improv and freedom, so I gave pointers here and there for certain things.
I'm so sorry. It was so whiny.
It was really whiny, super well done, Cyrus. I could have asked for a better performance with what I wanted.
Oh,
Hope you guys like the script, the improv script. It's like, what if they were all 16 years old and horrible people?
To be fair, my Caspian is still a horrible person, so...
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did the worst part of your characters and I cranked it up to 20.
me just having 0 cares.
Absolutely. Super well done. I think it played off really well. Thank you guys.
I was thinking that he was like with the long drawn out. I just want to prance with the flowers. I thought Caledon was gonna be like this pretty fucking stoner. I just want to prance
wanted
with
to
the
dance
flowers.
I guess I kind of wrote him up to be kind of a bitch.
Kind of, he was.
Except
You wrote everyone to be completely unlikable.
him as a character is literally the complete like he is not a bitch. Like he's a bit awkward at times, but like when push comes to shove, like he'll fuck you up.
My
He
favorite,
would have left with the money.
the favorite lines I probably wrote for this was Caspian's. Shit, man,
Oh, I
you got
can tell.
anger. She's like, for real, man. But yeah, I'll agree with you, man. That dude got annihilated. Now I'm trying to go out to him with annihilation style. Know what I mean, bro?
No, I mean, bro,
Close TBH.
is Caspian
I
like?
feel like
from
that's
Essex?
just Spencer.
Like where's Caspian
Spencer's
from?
like, man, you got wrecked, man. Fuck you, man.
Man, you got wrecked. Caspian's from the north of London. That's where his voice is coming from.
Is that like Yorkshire? Or where's Yorkshire? I don't know.
Yorkshire's the very north of the country, so
Okay.
a few
I
hundred
see.
miles away.
Haha, so I'm right without being right.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining for that part.
Can I just say, the conviction and the character development of the townsfolk really got to me emotionally.
Mhm.
Hey,
Yeah.
where was the backstory with that? What's their story?
Yeah, where was the
Wait.
character?
Why?
Where was the inspiration? What was your muse for this townsfolk?
A character that hired you on to solve their mining problems because it's their main export. And then you guys did nothing, and you guys pieced out because of Caspian was like, "Le mob, bro, peace out." And
Very real possibility.
That might
And you
actually
just totally
happen.
and then the townsfolk, they took a blood oath, and they are
Blood
gonna hunt you. They're gonna hunt you
Casually,
down.
yeah, just casually take a blood oath.
As
Oh
villagers
no,
do.
I've slipped. Oh, I'm
Village.
curse.
They're
Oh,
too
yeah.
scared to solve their mining problem, but they'll hunt you down to the ends of the earth, apparently.
Because we took a little bit of gold.
Yeah. But yeah, hope everybody liked the script. It was a lot of fun to
Yeah.
write.
It hurt my soul.
L-
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, liked is a funny word, isn't it?
More like absolutely despise.
Yes, if you mean like by absolutely hated, then yes, we liked it a lot.
Like, by the opposite of liked.
Thank you.
Is it too late to completely change everything about my character after that?
Yeah, I think I don't want to play Caledon anymore. He's too whiny now. I don't
You
wanna play
ruined him for
anymore.
me.
don't
Yeah,
wanna
campaign's
play
canceled.
anymore.
Got everyone go home now. No,
I think I kind of want to play Nee now because I've developed that character.
yeah,
No.
I feel like I could play Caspian. I feel like I'm really tied to the character. There's a lot of
Yeah,
emotional
you're
investment
really
now.
hit the nail on the head with this one.
Every episode, we're changing characters.
Who do you think was the closest to their actual character out of this?
Not Cal.
Not me.
I don't think anyone.
I think if I think Ram was overly aggressive. I think Caspian. I can fully imagine Caspian just the minute anything goes wrong, he just pieces out. I feel like that could be something that genuinely happens.
The way I imagined it, you ever see that video that throws up the piece on like this and then like disappears?
Yeah, like Dragon Ball Z style.
Yeah,
He fades out.
that's
Yeah,
exactly
that's what I
imagined.
did. I just went.
See,
Personally,
yeah.
I think the person that sold the character the best and got the closest was definitely Nee. Dan playing Nee.
Maybe. I don't know how Cyrus is going to play this.
Cyrus's 1,000-yard stare would absolutely disagree with that.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, Nee has two voices.
Mm-hmm.
I was
And
gonna suggest
In
that.
in the cave, Nee is very low and slow, and it is drawn out, and they're trying to articulate exactly what they're going to say. And then they go really up high because they're really, oh, thank you so much. I actually really like you people.
It's hearing that
So-
voice come out of somebody who looks like Nee is going to be like such a mind fuck.
And
Because
that's the thing.
like,
I want-
Stairs.
but like apparently you told me that Nee is taller than Cal.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Nee is
cool.
a string
That's what I was
bean.
Cal is like 6'3", 6'2".
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still smaller than that. I think I'm a 6'2". No, I'm 5'10".
Yeah. No, Nee is.
Hey, so is Ramithus. Ramithus is also
Hey,
5'10".
yeah.
Oh, Nee is.
Is
Average.
Is it too spoilery to ask what voices everyone is going to be bringing to the table next week after that?
I just gave you mine, so.
No, I think
Uh,
everyone did their voice. I think everyone did everyone else's voices perfectly spot on.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's
Yeah.
going to be.
That's exactly.
I mean,
oh my!
I
You
don't mind,
fucking got riggedy right, bruv.
I don't mind doing like
Correct,
actual
bruv.
what Caledon actually is going to sound like. If anybody.
Mhm.
So at the start, he's probably going to talk a little bit like this. He very I don't really know if he's probably going to talk a lot at the beginning. He's a bit shy, a little bit anxious. But he definitely is not the whine like, oh no. He's not going to talk like that. He's he can get aggressive if he wants to. He can get a bit whiny, but this is probably what he will sound like for most of the time.
It sounds like Turkish or like Slavic.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
it's kind of a like a
Rametes.
middle, like a like Eastern European.
Yeah,
Like-
Eastern
like-
European for sure.
Yeah. But maybe that's not what he actually sounds like. I guess we'll find out. I could be lying to you all.
Yeah, you
Lots of
could.
different voices.
Yes, Rametis will also sound like this the entire time.
No.
Everyone just high pitched at the end.
I do expect Cass to be like, "Oi, bruv, all right,
Yeah.
listen here, I'm a fucking pod, all right."
Can
I'm gonna tell you a
Caspian
story."
just be Steve the futon guy? Like, it's not too late. It's not too late to
No.
bring the futon guy.
It definitely isn't.
You guys are the ones that
Hey, you want some futons? We got plenty of futons right here.
All right, well, you go ahead and rest on the futon.
Hey, Peter, have you seen my wheelchair?
Hey, Peter.
Have you
All
seen
right,
my
poison specifically for Cusco. Cusco's
Cusco's
poison.
Poison.
Well, what does Rametis
Poison
actually
sounded
sound
real
like though?
I'm curious of this. Yeah.
Nada.
Maybe say one of the lines that Ram had in the script, but like maybe a bit more. like
Oh,
him.
okay. Yeah, I'll actually say it.
Yes, he would actually say it.
Fuck you. I'm not saying that now. You ruined that for me. Let me actually, I might do it. I might, because all the other lines are absolute trash. Honestly, that's the best one.
How dare you insult my expert writing?
I'm just gonna look at Dan for a sec and kind of wait.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will then.
No, don't
Oh.
do it. No, no.
Bit.
Okay.
Or even like just the second half of it. I don't know.
Want me to give you a scenario?
Sure.
All right.
Creative director.
It was like acting school.
Somebody is you're about to show down in a fight with an opponent that you respect very much.
He's taking prep time.
Mhm.
Carefully dissecting the dialogue in his head, or is he practicing it? He's just hiding his mouth with a microphone.
He's getting zen. He's getting into character.
The eyes have changed.
Well, and
Shut up, fairy boy.
Is he going to stand up and do a kick towards the camera?
Yeah.
This is so tense.
Got this. It's in.
Everything has its own purposes, of course. Although my
Alright.
purpose in this particular fight is to have a good gentleman's bout. I respect you very much, fighter. But you will see the error of your ways of challenging me.
He could pass for a Khajiit.
Yes, I could if
He sounds
really
much
went
more,
over the top with it.
He sounds much more wizened than I would have imagined.
Yeah, I was expecting
but
just
it
like-
makes sense.
Young protagonist voice. You know. Yeah.
Oh,
You
it's
guys
anime
come in
style,
here and
like of
beat me?
course.
Yeah.
Well, I was expecting something more like this. You know what I
I
mean?
was expecting something a little bit more like this.
I don't want to have to do this to you, but I will fight.
I will fight you.
Interesting.
All right, Caspian. What is...
Ah. Oh god.
That's
Can I
Caspian's
also
voice
have
right there.
scenario?
Nailed it.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Nailed it. Oh,
Are we
God.
all doing? Are we all getting scenarios?
Throw me a scenario.
Oh, okay,
All right, throw you a scenario. Would you like me to throw you a scenario or somebody else?
Anyone.
All right, I
You're
have
buying
one.
your groceries.
You just dropped your musical instrument in the river after having a nice, quiet boat ride, and you're pissed about it. Because you don't want to get your clothes wet to go get it.
Oh. Ooh. So I've had to put emotion into a voice. It's going to be stale. Well, you see, the thing I've noticed about doing a voice of Caspian, you just have to pretend you've taken Hugh Grant's face and put it on your face. And you'll find your facial features kind of just mold and your voice naturally. Like, you have to have a constant to your face. It's and kind of a weird stare. So if he was in, he'd probably be going along and he'd go, oh Christ, oh piss, oh shit, oh God. Try and get it down. He's like, oh, you're right. Well, looks like it's absolutely soaked. Right, piss. Something along the lines of that.
That's all he says.
Were you doing a voice there?
Yeah. If I was doing
slightly
normal
bit
voice,
different.
it'd be
subtle,
more like
but it's
piss.
there.
It's
Like,
very
Yeah.
subtle.
Piss.
That's
Yeah.
just that little bit
The,
different.
the way I do it with Caspian is, you know how for every voice you have kind of your entry lines you do it onto?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The way I find it, the best way I found to do Caspian's voice is to just go into kind of film quotes from Hugh Grant and try and replicate it
Mm-hmm.
and add your kind of distinct spin onto it. So one of my kind of voice lines in is all men are islands, and what's more, this is the time to be one. This is an island age. 100 years ago, for example, you had to depend on other people. No one had TVs or CDs or DVDs or home espresso makers. As a matter of fact, they didn't have anything cool. Whereas now, you can make yourself a little island paradise with the right supplies, and more importantly, right attitude. You can become sun-drenched, tropical, and a magnet for young Swedish tourists.
There you go. I see it for sure there. That was really
Yeah.
good. That's the thing. If you have trouble with your voices, and if it's based on somebody like Hugh Grant, for example,
just
Play them.
the
do it
thing
again
is
and
that
again,
you
yeah.
use these trigger phrases that kind of get you in the mood of the character, or kind of like it's
Yeah.
easy to capture the voice of that character by those
Mhm.
phrases. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I still use that sometimes with voices that I struggle with.
yeah.
I should, I do that with Maverick as well in Spencer's game. Which I want to ask if you, as the EU man, do you think my voice of Maverick has gotten better? Because it is a little bit lightly Eastern inspired.
To me, I always view Maverick's voice as kind of action hero protagonist. Because I feel like he's the one who's going to wield kind of a noble arm. That's kind of what the voice, the
Yeah.
theme the voice gives to. Is that what it's supposed to be? Kind of
It
just
is it
very
is
heroic.
half posh. It is half posh
Yeah.
protag voice.
Yeah.
But as far as like the accent's concerned, it's not bastardizing. I hope it's actually kind of authentic.
Hmm.
'Cause,
Yeah, it's one of those things where if a bad accent stands out a lot and your voice hasn't stood out yet.
Yeah, I
No,
would know.
that sounds bad. I mean, like
accents
it
stick out
hasn't
a lot.
stood out for a bad accent, but it stood out for being cool. So that means you're doing. a
You
good
know,
job.
I'm gonna hate myself for asking this, but now I have to ask Dan. What do you
Well,
think?
I guess
His
that's,
voice?
really good to hear then.
I mean, like, it's not where I'm from in Ireland. Yours is more kind of like the Midlands, kind of western of Ireland. So, you know, like they kind of do talk like that, you know, with over in the
Right.
west, and you know, you like
Right.
But
T.
tiddly tiddly.
That's one of my
Um,
trigger phrases to get into Legos as well. T. A point for me, a point for you.
but
But
I'm
it
sure
is kind of based in like more of a rural country, like Irish accent is what I was trying to go for.
I mean, for me, it doesn't offend me, but if you probably said it to somebody who lived in that area, you probably would get.
You
a
would
bit
get
of
punched in the
backlash.
face,
Right.
probably.
Yeah.
But like, I do a lot of like
How much punching?
my character Garcus. You guys know,
Hmm.
like he's a very Scottish accent.
Scottish, yeah.
Is like one that's come quite naturally to me. So, but there's probably people over in Scotland who are like, that's a really bad accent he's doing.
Actually, it sounds kind of similar to mine, but I think that you have like a little bit more experience, like in person with it. I have a very, very, very Scottish friend online, and he says that my Scottish is like really well done, and that it's actually super close. And I could only imagine that he would probably give you like the same praise that yours is probably spot on.
Yeah, I have a few
Mhm.
Scottish friends. Yeah.
As an English person, I find if I try and do a Scottish or Irish accent, they just kind of mix together. So my Irish
hear
goes Scottish and my Scottish goes Irish.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Well, if I was to kind of purposely mix it, because it just happens when I talk for long periods of the Scottish accent. So a Scottish accent, we're like, Scottish. Hi, my name's Gundren Rockseeker. I mean, it kind of just goes more Irish, and I never quite know why it goes more Irish. I mean, it might go back a bit Scottish, and it just kind of,
Yeah.
and I can never
Well,
pin it down to one. It's very weird.
I like everybody's here.
And then sometimes from Irish it goes to Australian, and that's when you know it's gone too far. When you're voicing a Scottish NPC, and then you realise you sound like you're putting shrimps on the Barbies, and it's
Yeah. One of my favorite voice I did for a character was during Scorchy's one shot where I got to play Timmy now, and so I did this for the entire time. And hello, my name's Timmy now, and like doing that voice for that character, or even like when I got to do for the monkey, or when I got to do Nickel for your Blood Zerker one shot, my gunslinging halfling who was kind of
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew, very, very heavily inspired by over the top Matthew McConaughey, or even like Fang for Slivis's campaign. You know, he's very very well spoken. Kind of, I don't even know what a proper way to kind of compare him to.
That sounds kind of posh.
He's very posh. Yes, he's incredibly
very posh,
well spoken,
gentlemanly.
What's the most posh voice you can
Reginald's
do?
on the Reginald's on the other.
Do not ask Iggy to do any.
I've heard enough of Reginald.
I've heard enough of Reginald.
But I can do other posh accents. Trust me. Reginald isn't my only one.
The poshest accent you can do is probably like something like this. Here, where it's like.
Oh, absolutely, I concur.
Very nice.
Can you believe that a little boy was trying to sell me grapes on the sidewalk? How pathetic.
Speaking of posh and voices, Iggy, our Grand Theft Auto characters.
Huh. All right, so if we're going a little off topic here,
A little bit.
me and, or you say Ryan and I, have started playing a roleplay GTA 5 server. It's modded, so it's called 5M. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, but it kind of takes like, I think it's how GTA should have been playing originally. It's so much more fun than normal GTA. Like every cop has to be a player, so it creates this really interesting interactions. And there's player-led gangs. Then they have like their own like hangout locations, and there's turf wars. And we have started 2 characters, and they're really very gentlemanly and kind of posh. They are by the name of Bo Belarose, who's me, and Charles Banks.
Banks.
Yes, and we have started the 2 Gents taxi service in the city. And other players call us, and we give them rides to wherever they need to go. Ryan, I'll let you go ahead and tell the rest if you want.
We're just a couple of very reputable business ventures.
Oh my, I have to agree with that one. Listen here, I am absolutely overjoyed to hear that you're having fun with our taxi service.
It would be quite unfortunate if you were not having fun. Would you care for a complimentary donut or
Which
water?
reminds me of Portal 2. Or just Portal in general.
Like GLaDOS vibes.
Yeah.
Would you please take one of our complimentary snacks or drinks? I promise that they're not poisoned or anything.
It seems that we're going through some sort of a detour, Beauregard. It seems our GPS is malfunctioning. But look at Mount Chiliad, so secluded and beautiful.
So secluded and beautiful. Anything could happen up here, and
no one would hear it.
Are they secretly murderers?
Yes. So
they seem to be very practiced at it.
It seems that we have arrived at your destination. Oopsie daisies! The car door's locked.
Please pay our fee, or
which is everything in your pockets. As the other person in the front of the cab climbs to the back seat and holds a gun.
Yes.
That is currently our fare.
I was telling you
Please
guys
rate us 5 stars.
I was telling you guys about the scenario earlier where I overheard them trying to scam me.
Oh, yeah.
So on the way there, I locked the doors. I'm like, surely 2 fine gentlemen like you wouldn't try any scamming, would you?
No.
They sound, instead of cabbies, because I just think of like the New York cabbie when I think of cabbies. They sound very much like customer service people.
Yes,
That-
they're very.
Mhm.
The thing is,
Sell him with a
Like,
smile.
Yeah, it's
kill
all
them
up
with
here.
kindness. How
Kill him with
ironic.
kindness. How
I named
fun.
my pistol kindness.
How
I mean, like
great.
that's one of the cool things that I think is really interesting about this group and this cast is that like we're all really good improvisers and character like actors, and like we play so well off of each other. So like it's going to be really cool to see us not interacting like as in like,
It's
like not
us.
like Daniel interacting with Cybus. It'll be
Mhm.
Cal interacting with Nee, Caspian, and Ram, like characters who have never met each other before, and we know everything about. And like, oh, I'm like, can we just do episode? Like, can we just start right now? Like,
Yeah.
can we just like? I know we're like
No.
over 2 hours, but can we do a 5-hour session right now?
Alright, let's do
No,
it.
I
Let's do it,
have
okay.
I have
I-
D&D in person tonight.
All right, guys, you're in the chain. Ugh.
God, no, the chain already.
Oh, that's another thing. I have started a side project with Giovanni. Actually getting a banner of arms made for the an important group in the story, The Chain. And it's looking really well. I'm gonna go ahead and post a teaser. It's not done yet, but would you guys like to see it?
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, I'll throw it up on the stream here in a sec.
Definitely.
While you grab that, should we talk about what our subclasses are? Because it is
no,
on the
that's a-
card for some of them. So
Mm.
do we want to do a reveal of what our subclasses are?
I don't mind talking about mine.
I don't mind talking
'cause
about
it
mine
kinda-
either.
So I guess I'll just go first. I'm playing a wildfire druid. This is my first, actually, like I said, it's my first druid class. I've not really played many casters. I mostly go for like melee, so like monks, barbarians, fighters. So when I saw the new wildfire and I had like a wildfire spirit, I wanted to give it a go, and it worked well with my race. So yeah, expect to see not only like a healing druid, but I have a lot of like melee prowess as well. So I'm going to be kind of a sub tank healer druid, because you know combat and stuff like that is something that I'm really interested in. So I'm trying to bring in my usual kind of melee, but also mixing in a bit of magic as well. And the wildfire spirit is something I'm very interested and excited to kind of mess around with. Because my wildfire spirit has a personality of its own, that is like another kind of mini character I get to play with. So I'm very excited.
Nice. All right.
Baby.
Gonna be a very good boy, wild spirit.
He's such a good boy.
Such a
Cal
good boy.
is best boy.
You better give him snacks. I swear to God.
I will. He'll get the best snacks.
Alright.
I'll go up next. I am playing an astral self monk. So I have the astral arms. Pretty interesting stuff. Never seen this one being played too much, honestly. I think it's a little bit of the underdog when it comes to monk subclasses that I've seen. I've seen Drunken Master more than I've seen Astral Self being played.
Or even Open Hand, and
Yeah,
like
the Open Hand's a
Shadow.
classic. Yeah. I've seen Long Death and Shadow Monk being played the most.
Yep.
And then Drunken Master and Open Hand, and then probably Way of the Four Elements is probably least played. Alongside Astral Self. It's just this subclass fits his backstory very, very well. As well as he is also an innate spellcaster. So he's full monk, but he is a variant human, just so I can give him spellcasting ability as part of he's a mixed race. We'll just say it that he's a mixed race. He has horns on his head, so he's a mixed. He's mostly human, but he has that little bit of stuff. So I gave him the magic initiate feat from variant human to splash in something from his other race. So now he knows produce flame. Just
Cool.
yep.
So much fire.
Caspian.
I am a college of Lawbard. I was originally going to be a college of Galamabard, but I realized Caspian isn't really a kind of a guy who'd get up on stage in front of loads of people and play. Which, sacrilege, a bard, he won't do that, but
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Knowing,
everyone's cup of tea.
knowing how Caspian is, really, I think.
He essentially just knows a lot from his 200 years of age. He has, as I said before, he doesn't have a job. He has all the time in the world to himself every day, so he reads quite a bit. Does a bit of research, and the way I'd describe his field of knowledge is if you took a washed-up rock star from like the 1970s and 80s, they would like know everything about that time, but pretty useless when it comes to modern day.
Mm-hmm.
So knows a lot about drugs.
Oh,
Nice.
They said he knows a lot about drones at first. I'm like, what?
Just
That's impressive.
What about Knee? What's Knee's subclass?
Knee doesn't have a subclass. They are 1 class cleric
Yes.
and 2 class warlock.
Ooh.
I
Interesting.
I guess I'll give you their domains. For a cleric, they are of the trickery domain, and warlock, they are the celestial.
Interesting.
Okay.
Mhm.
Intriguing.
Well, let's just say some things have happened to me that weren't always consensual.
Ooh,
Okay.
I see.
You're also the only like multi-class as of right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Do the
But-
rest of you think you may multiclass?
Well,
uh
Anders, but
I think if Cal were to multi-class into something, he would either multi-class into cleric or probably sorcerer. He'd lean more in more magic.
I definitely think I could see both happening for sure.
Yeah, depending
Yeah.
on what happens.
Yeah.
To him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is everybody. I could talk about Anders.
Good.
Well, don't you get the wrong idea if I tell you, but as far as his classes go, his subclasses, he is a necromancer and shadow sorcerer.
Ooh.
And I can't speak too much on it. I'm just going to leave it at that. It relates to his
It's gonna
backstory
be
and why.
something I am gonna have a lot of fun with in season 2.
I already have character ideas for season 2. Trust me. I have a couple
What
of
the
potential
what the
ones.
fuck do you mean, Dan? You're playing Caledon and only Caledon. That's it.
Oh,
You're not allowed to play
I know your
anybody else.
characters.
I'm only Cal. Cal is the one
Yep.
one constant in ARC.
Yep, I'll make sure he's immortal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these characters are gonna be. Oh no,
Mhm.
I was thinking we'd have so long to develop them and we bring one out of the show.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
it's kind of an existential
Oh, they get
crisis now that you
retired.
think about like these
He's gonna
characters
end
are
as a bad guy,
It's gonna be
possibly.
ending. No, not as a bad guy. Holy shit.
No, we're actually the big bads.
But also,
are we the
thing is,
baddies?
like these characters, if anybody does anything in the future, our characters could have something that is like made history, or even in the past something like legacy based for like some of the characters. Like that's what I love about this world is that like
Mhm.
one of us can take something so small in our and during our term make like something that alters history or like explains stuff in the past.
Mhm.
But I actually have I know we did this like last time, but I think it'd be good to like do one more. Can we ask like like each of us have turns asking other people questions about their character that might not
Yeah.
give too much away? Because now
Yeah.
we have Knee here. Or maybe if Eggy has like one question for each of us based on our character, like something small. If anybody has any questions for each other.
Because
I have
as
a
an
question for
example,
everyone.
because as an example, I remember asking Caspian if he was afraid of heights, and he absolutely said yes.
Yeah.
I have a question for everyone.
Okay.
What is your character's relationship like with their parents?
Mine doesn't have parents.
Okay.
I'm a big mommy's boy.
Oh, interesting. Very
I'm
interesting.
not a huge fan of my dad, but my mom, my mom is my everything.
Caspian is the polar opposite of you.
I wouldn't say Ramethus is also a polar opposite, but he has a better relationship with his dad. It was more like father, like son, do a lot of like manual labor growing up together, that kind of like hard working, one of those, being the firstborn child or whatever, the dad is like, yes, a son, da-da-da. He's going to be grand and grow up just like me. But yeah, he also loves his mother too. But he was definitely praised a lot by his father more.
Interesting.
Well, what about Caspian? What's his relationship with his parents like?
Well, he kind of grew up in differing places. Sometimes he'd be staying with his mum, sometimes his dad. Not a biggest fan of his mum, doesn't talk too much. Was a really, really big fan of his dad, but some stuff happened, and unfortunately,
I guess we'll
no
learn
longer.
about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
backs or anything.
next
I'll not spoil anything, but unfortunately, he's not kind of too close to his dad anymore.
Okay. I have a question. And all of you can answer it. What's your character's biggest fear? Like, what do they like? What do they fear the most? Whether it's a thing, whether it's like a situation or like an abstract thing. Like, what's your character fear the most?
Who would like to go first?
I know what Nee's biggest fear is, and that would be losing sentience.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Ram.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah, I need a second.
Caspian. I think I know what it is, story-wise.
I think it's joint. It's very much joint. It's either what I touched upon earlier of people kind of seeing for immediately and realizing he's nothing interesting whatsoever. Because at that point he kind of loses all his perceived value he has of himself. So that's one of his biggest fears. But his other one is probably doing kind of one thing he's known for in his life and then never achieving those heights of greatness again and just dying in obscurity. This is his other biggest fear.
Dan, do you want to answer first? I know you asked the question.
Yeah, no, I don't mind if you. Cal's biggest fear is not having the knowledge he needs to help the ones he loves. He's very much a very caring person, and he constantly wants to do better. Mostly because growing up, he was always, not the one that was like praised the most. He was very much the underdog amongst his town. And he kind of does things that like not many people would usually do. He's a little bit of the weirdo kind of. But despite that, he cares for very few people, and he just wants to be smart enough and strong enough, or whatever he needs to be to help people. And if he can't do that, and something bad happens to them, that's his worst fear.
All right.
And I guess my Ram's biggest fear, knowing that he can't be in two places at once, and that he's grown to be more brave and stronger for his training and things like that as a monk at monastery, that his biggest fear is that someone will need him most and he will be unable to do anything about it. Even though he is physically capable to do so, he would be proportionally unable to do it. Letting people down, even though he has the capacity to do so. That his
Very
obligations,
real fears here.
his obligations will tie him down to be unable to help others.
Mm.
I see we've all gone down the road of developing very real kind of people as opposed to characters.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone who suffers from bipolar, we have ADHD, we have like social anxiety. Like these sound just like real people.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent.
Actually, what's one thing that you, if you have taken from yourself that you've put into this character? Like anything that like really like touches on you that you brought in, or even for Eggy, is there any like NPCs that you've brought in that might have stuff from you, or everybody can answer this.
A self-insert quality.
Yeah.
There's no good way for me to answer this one. Wow.
Your ego, Spencer.
When it really comes to it, whenever I make my characters, I make them. I never really do these self-insert qualities. I build up a whole new personality from like the ground up, and how they'd react. But to be completely honest, I think Anders is like the first person I put some of myself into actually.
Which is good. Makes you more emotionally invested.
It's part of the reason why I'm excited for him quite a lot.
And what did you bring
What
from
quality
yourself?
would that?
Yeah, what was it?
Personality quality.
Probably the personality of like being afraid to make a change that would better, like being afraid to go forward and really invest like your time into something that might not even have a payoff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just kind of being afraid, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Orion.
Ram is a lot like me in the aspect of having the confidence and feeling that they're capable without actual proof that they're capable. It's not an ego thing. It is how it's more of like a behavior pattern than it is a personality trait. The willingness to improve even though they physically think that they are reached their plateau.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh yeah, I can do this athletic or acrobatic feat, or it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure I can do it, sure I can learn it, or I can get better at it over time, and you know, wanting to take on as many skills. It's like, sure, I can learn it. Yeah, if I don't know it, I can learn it, and if I know it, I can master it, and if I can't master it, I'll keep training to do it. You know, it's that stubbornness of like, if I can't do something, I'll learn how to do it, and if I know how to do it, I want to get good at it.
Now that you say that, I like that very much is who you are as a person.
Yeah, if
You
I don't
always
know how
wanted
to
to
do it,
learn
I'll
new
figure
stuff.
it out, and if I already kind of know how to do it, and if I'm bad
Yeah.
at it, I'll stop being bad at it.
That's really
you
cool.
know,
actually.
it's good to his detriment too, because he is gonna have things that he's just not good at it, even though he wants to try to do it,
Mhm.
even if it is at the detriment of others or himself.
Spencer.
Oh, if I can get real for a minute here, so get your tiny violins ready to go.
All right,
Uh,
got my tiny.
I come
Glock.
from a very rural area in the north. Tiny Glock.
Tiny Glock. Wait.
Awful noise. I come from a very rural area in the north of England, from like generations of like railway workers and farmers who have all been, you know, very typical manly men, if that makes sense. And one part of me I've put into Caspian is kind of being stoic for better or for worse. It's like with me and Caspian, it's like if something is wrong, he and I would never say. You'd never kind of see kind of Caspian crying or anything like that. And he might get actively annoyed at you if you kind of say, "Well, you're obviously not okay." Like, no, I'm completely fine. Why can't you just take me on my word? Because I remember, actually, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when my grandma died, and like I just kind of had to sit there, and I was just kind of, because my parents were absolutely destroyed, and it's kind of that inner mindset of okay, if they're upset, I have to kind of be the brave one here, and kind of not show any emotion about it. And that's very much kind of the north of England life. I've put that into Caspian, as he won't ever tell anyone how he's really feeling.
That is so so good.
Cyrus, anything?
So I'm the opposite of Eggy. Every character I make, I put a part of myself in it, and I then exemplify that specific trait. So Ni themselves is my bipolar given form. And so I'm excited to see, because I know my bipolar, I know how my ups and my downs, and I'm excited to represent that in this character. And so you'll see some really odd behavior from me, because one, they might not know what the societal standard is. And two, they might not realize that they're just being this very manic being, or very oppressive being at times. So I'm really excited. I'm super excited about me. And that is why, starting out, there's the Warlock and the Cleric.
Nice. Very
Nice.
nice. Excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah. I'm also very excited.
The one thing that I put into Cal is probably like I'm not the most manly man. I have a quite subtle femininity to myself, and I kind of brought that into Cal to kind of flesh it out and give it like real permanence. You kind of see that Cal is quite a effeminate, but also eccentric at times. He's incredibly caring, and he can also be stoic and resilient at times. But he's quite he's also very curious about a lot of things. Like if you can't, like, from the picture, he's very infatuated about what the wizard is saying. Like he always wants to learn new things. But one thing that really is from me is probably like a very eccentric, feminine side and personality to him that I'm kind of like taking for myself and like amping it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can say so, I like how me and Dan have essentially taken the opposite parts of personality from ourselves and kind of put I've taken my the very toxic masculine things he brought up to, where you're kind of not allowed to grieve, and put those in, and then Dan's put his kind of other stuff in it. And I feel like in a lot of ways, me and Dan have built very kind of opposite characters.
Yeah, like we're
in
total
every single way. Yeah,
like because being somewhat like I'm bisexual. I'm part of the LGBT community, so like I've always had this thing of like I'm different. Most guys like my age don't wear jewelry. They don't sing. They don't do musical theater. They don't play. They don't play Dungeons and Dragons, but I do, and I can be quite effeminate sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I want to fucking paint my nails. I want to fucking do all that stuff, but Cal takes that and like goes even further. Like he wears jewelry. His nails are always painted. He has earrings. He expresses who he is. But there's also a part of him. There's also a part of him that is also kind of still hidden. Yeah.
Don't let no bitch ass tricks tell you what's what, man.
Bitch ass tricks.
On the note of seriousness, I like that a lot, man. It's self-expression is probably one of the most important qualities that you can have. Otherwise, you're just living a life trying to stifle who you want to be in favor of what people think you should be, and fuck everybody else. I know that's like been said a million times, but like literally, fuck them up. Like,
fuck them up.
Beat them,
In all ways.
beat them up,
quickly.
hit them with a fan. I will come to your house.
Fuck it up.
Kidnap their mother, and say, "Let me be who I want to be, or else your mommy gets it." Anyways,
does anybody else like have any questions for?
Everything's so polar nowadays, And I think self-expression. I think it's not a big deal. It's not as big a deal as it should be. I think
Yeah.
able to be who they wanna.
I think that's really gonna play a lot into how our characters are gonna grow the more we play with them with each other. Because it has a little bit, it has a little bit of ourselves and our own volition of being that character and being ourselves more.
I was always brought up by around a lot of like very judgmental people, especially my brother. I don't know. So
I feel like the way, like you said, I don't know if you said in the past, but you enjoy watching like your players cry.
me?
We both have said that, yes.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a few tears in this campaign.
Oh yeah.
How do you want real tears or fake tears? Because we can get the fake tears going in a minute.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
can get actors' tears going as well. It's a
I'll probably cry at least once during this campaign. I can probably tell.
Oh.
Yeah, I can bring one if I need to, but
The achievement of the campaign will be if you get Caspian to cry.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that would be quite the achievement.
Oh, you.
You won't be able to tell if he's crying. They've got this giant mask.
It soaks through like bounty paper towels.
It's just sniffles.
Going down.
It's black. Like.
But yeah, does anybody have any like final questions for characters or?
Right.
Not for
I got
characters,
questions.
but it's for Iggy specifically, the dungeon
Ooh.
master.
Let's hear from the man himself.
I want the dungeon master to kind of, for the people that are listening to the podcast that haven't come to the Twitch channel yet, they're listening on Spotify. They want to know what makes this campaign that's going to start next week different from all the other ones, and I think I'll help you along with answering this as well. Since all the players are here, I was debating on introducing them to one more person.
Oh yeah.
If you'll be fine with revealing them today.
Oh, you want to?
I think it's time.
Oh.
I think we can reveal them today if you want.
If it's who I think it is, then yeah, let's go for it. He's gonna be important.
They're going to be a very important person throughout all of the campaigns, not just this one, but every single one. This person is a permanence. And all of the party members will meet them.
Is it Jesus?
Yes.
Oh.
No. So first off, let's start with what makes this. What's this campaign series about? What's this unified world that we've built? These are chronicles.
Yes. So without spoiling too much, the world of Terra Vermiculus is named very, very accurately. In Latin, it translates to Land of the Red, and you guys will come to find why that is in the campaign. In the world of Terra Vermiculus, in the ARC campaigns, it is sort of a modular map that a series of chronicles takes place. We've kind of built this up to have multiple different periods, having different things going on at different times. I'm focusing on a different time period as, say, perhaps Orion. Maybe his will be thousands of years in the future, or thousands of years in the past, or maybe it'll take 100 years after the events of ARC1. That's what's going to be different about this. It is a very huge collaborative effort between multiple people on a very large-scale world where a lot of stuff is subject to change.
Right. I'll coincide that with revealing the timeline for my campaign. Of Campaign 2 will be taking place during the exact same time period as Campaign 1. It will be happening simultaneously. So I will be taking a lot of campaign notes.
Yeah.
Just have it on voice recorder.
So to let you know, the events that take place during Campaign 1 will have a direct impact on the events of Campaign 2.
And you're just going to kind of work off of what I have then.
Absolutely. It won't necessarily be in the same location, but it will be known that your actions... How many times do we have to tell you that your actions have consequences?
The thing about how this campaign is going to be different as well for ARC1 is that I'm trying my hardest to avoid any cliche type of stories. So I'm specifically avoiding the cult storyline that a lot of D&D campaigns go for.
What? No cult?
No.
Yes, Cult of the Black Sun, praise thee of the eclipse of bringing on our Night
Let's
Lord.
just ignore what's happening in Dragons of the Round Table right now.
Ignore everything what's happening in Silva Holland.
Ryan, you have no idea how crazy, like, similar our campaigns ended up being. Like, my first campaign was Followers of the Red Sun. Yours is, like, Cult of the Black Sun.
Oh.
And it was very much, like, resolved around, like, this cult activities and stuff. But anyways.
Cults are cool,
where was I?
Anyway.
So I'm also trying to go the route of, like, subverting expectations. I love to throw people for a loop or kind of shock them in a way.
Yeah.
So that's what you can kind of expect here as well.
Who's this character? I'm very
Yeah.
Get to it.
intrigued.
All
We'll get
my
to it
bets are on Jesus.
All right.
All of the coins.
And it's actually going to do we want to like set the genre of campaign 1 and 2,
Sure, absolutely.
and then we'll go to this special character reveal.
So kind of setting the genre, the way I like to write, I kind of write a grimdark way.
Oh my god. Thespian.
A lot of people, like, I know Orion, he tackles stuff in his like one shot for the Unnamed. And through his other stuff that I've seen, he goes for a mixture of like this grimdark with like fantasy folklore a lot of the time. So like very,
I'm
like
heavy folklore for
like
when it
high,
comes to
yeah,
fantasy.
very heavy folklore, like fairies and the fairy princess and
When I did the one shot back on another channel for the courts, the Eladrin courts, that's my bread and butter. I love high fantasy and other planes of existence.
very high fantasy. And I kind of go for like multiple people dying of plague, reaching out from the corners of the street towards the heroes, and the heroes kind of looking down at them and being sad that they can't do anything to help these masses that are dying of plague. So I write grimdark. I feel like grimdark is sort of an untapped thing that has only kind of been seen around, or that's been kind of exploding in popularity recently. Due to a lot of grimdark series that have come out.
And the release of Grim Hollow, the 5e
of course, Grim Hollow as well. And it's just like writing that I really like, because being able to see people persevere through a grimdark world is so much more rewarding than seeing people persevere through like folklore world, in my opinion. And yeah, that's that, and we're going for a bit of a political theme for ARC1.
Hi. Okay.
Arc 2, so Iggy has political undertones, but in a grim, dark narrative. I am, as much as I really love high fantasy, culty, grindy combat kind of thing, I am taking a very brave note and I'm tackling a theme that I've never tackled before in DMing history. So I am taking my spin off of chronomancy. It is a very time-shifted theme. Planar and chronomatic displacement. I'll just give a weird example to get your imaginations going for campaign 2. But this is the only spoiler and hint you're gonna get for the next 6 months. So eat this up while you can. You are traveling and you come across a beautiful waterfall, and this waterfall looks more beautiful as rich land, vibrantly colored rocks jaggeded out of white foaming falls to your left, and you see a well-made bridge off of exotic woods that you haven't seen before. The land beneath your feet on one side of the bridge is dry, desolate, where grass cannot grow. And the fog and mist that the waterfall is rising through the bridge is obscuring your vision of the other side. You look up at the sun above you and you see it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you decided to cross the bridge. You cover your eyes from the mist getting in there and the humidity as it breathes in. You feel like the hot springs rise against your bare feet across the wooden bridge. And you reach to the other side and it is nighttime. Winter chill breezes through your skin. You don't know when you are.
This is so interesting. I've only done a one-shot that was like that. But
I think I have my character for campaign 2.
yeah, I think I figured out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think Anders is going to fit right into campaign 2.
Yeah.
Interesting.
For a brief moment, you cross that bridge where it felt like 5 minutes. You don't know when you are on the other side.
That's cool.
Ooh,
I'm
there's
excited.
just I now have like 3 character ideas.
Timeline.
No,
Oh,
this is I love high fantasy, so it is a very high fantasy setting, with a very wild, like unexpected, totally out there narrative. You try to expect the unexpected, yet the unexpected still happens. The undertone, as at least is for the narrative, is putting the puzzle pieces back together.
Ooh.
Stitching,
be fun.
stitching the weave back together.
That's cool.
Wild Mount Chronomerge, yes. So it's a mix of Wild Mounts inspired chronomancy, with the native D&D 5e divination with a mix of wild magic.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Very unstable. I
It
like
is
it.
very
Um,
unstable. Try to tell a stable storyline in an unstable environment.
Oh, but those are so fun.
It is. It's a big tall ask. To not have plot holes, as in time magic is
Mhm.
very, very hard to pull off. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. I have a lot of time to still work on it, but
yeah.
now, our last topic before we end the show, and then of course closing statements and last notes.
We still have to show off the chain teaser.
Yeah, is it in no mic chat?
Yeah.
We also talk
I
about the
said
character,
general.
too, do we?
Is it?
Jamie,
where
go
is
ahead
it?
and pull it up.
Oh, it is in
It's
general,
general.
chat.
Was the character talked about that you were gonna?
We're going to talk about it after I
This is the
show
last one.
this image.
Yes. It is a work in progress still.
It's gonna be next week. Next week, one more week.
One
And then
more
we
week.
can-
Almost there.
Step into the shoes of these characters and actually bring them to life.
All right.
Is it
so-
possible to die in the first session?
Yep.
Yeah, entirely.
Because my
That's
character
probably-
record is just dying immediately for every character I play. It's just natural one after natural one and falling off things and
So there it is on the
Yeah,
stream.
this is for the company The Chain, who is going to be an important crux part in the story. Honestly, a brotherhood of sorts among a lot of very hard living individuals that have had hard lives.
okay.
Yeah, this is custom made by Giovanni. I'm super thrilled to see when it's finished.
Giovanni is incredible.
Giovanni.
Absolutely.
We had him
Like
on
we
the
we,
show
we are
last week.
incredibly
He's a
lucky.
treat.
We're so lucky to have like all these people in who we call our staff, but they're really just our friends who are
Mhm.
doing all these incredible stuff for us.
Honestly,
Like from Xander, like to Kalik to Panda and Giovanni, even like Opera, who is just one of our mods. Like everybody plays such an integral part in this group. And obviously, the five of us who kind of just get to play the game.
Yeah, we're
We
here.
just kind of
like,
We have the easy
appear
part.
on, yeah.
We
appear
Xander
on
makes all
sessions,
the
and that's it.
UI graphics and everything. We
Yeah.
have to have a like staff appreciation podcast for all of them.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. We will definitely be bringing the staff appreciation with our people on the team and our friends as
Yeah.
guests on the campaign as well. I would like to see them play D&D.
Yeah.
I love Xander. I love.
Xander. I get to play with Xander in Cyrus's campaign, and Xander is such a thrill to play with. Our
Yes.
characters, like he's so much fun to play with.
Yeah.
Xander was a character in one of the one-shots that I streamed as a cameraman for, I believe.
mm.
Yeah, you are. You did.
Really, he was a really cool character. So I'll leave that up on the screen I'll zoom in for a quick sec so you get to see the detail in the sketch.
I'm probably the most excited to play with Spencer because I've never played with him before. I've been
See him as a player for once.
Yeah, like I've played it because I was a guest on Dragons of the Round Table,
Like
but I've
Cookie
never
Throat,
played with
yeah,
him as
yeah.
a player.
Mhm.
I've played with Cyrus and I've had Cyrus as a player, but I was as a DM, so I kind of know where like me and her stand in terms of our dynamic. And I played with like Ryan. I've played with him a couple of times, but
Mhm.
and Eggy, but Spencer, like our D&D relationship is just fresh. This is new,
I am the same way with Cyrus. I'm very excited to
I don't think
to
I've
play
played
with
with her
Cyrus.
a single time. Yeah.
I've not played with Cyrus at all. I have never even seen or heard any much stories of Cyrus's playing or DMing, other than some of the stories that Dan has told about you DMing. But I'm actually kind of excited that for once, after 9 months, Iggy, that you get to sit in the DM's chair and DM for me instead of the other way around, because I've been DMing for
Exactly,
Iggy
yeah.
for a long time. That is how it literally. this is how this came to be, is because Aggie and I met through a D&D Discord a long ass time ago. He decided to throw a message at me after a Discord that I left, and
Totally like
yep.
without like reason or cause. I'm just like that looks like a guy. I'll message him.
Eggy, I will
very
say,
lucky.
I'm gonna insight check every single thing you put on my
I mean, hey man, if you need to.
Every single NPC, every sentence, insight.
Everything.
Inside.
Yeah, it's very much the same way. I forget how me and Spencer even came to meet. I think was that through a like a Reddit post. I think
it was a Reddit post. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking to teach new people D&D or something like that." Or actually, no, it might be. I was like, "Hey, I'm doing a Grimdark campaign." So I think you messaged me. I added you to the D&D lounge. Then I think you might have invited Ryan at some point, and it's magic how it all comes together.
How everything has evolved. I finally was able to combine my 3 like favorite people and groups of people, which is like Ducky, and like Ryan and like Lance, all into like the same group. And this is exactly what I was hoping for with everything. Arcane Recovery. It's absolutely incredible.
I believe one of our Ducky is going to be one of our first guests.
He is. He's going to be the first guest, I believe.
Which
everybody else that's joined, it's just like this is a great community that I love.
Yeah, like to think that like I remember when you guys first like pitched me this idea, we were in a group called and you pitched me this idea because I was working on other podcast stuff for somebody else. And you guys pitched me this idea, and then I was like, "Hey, why don't we turn it into a show?" And there was so much like back and forth, and then I was like, "Oh, we should get a cast." And then both myself, Ryan, Eggy, were all like, "We need to get Lance, and we need to get Cybus in on this because the dynamic." And then I remember the first time the 5 of us ever like entered a group chat, a voice call, and it was like so much fun because we were talking about this, and then we had a bunch of people from like Ducky joining us and. Hick and just like even just sitting in some of these voice chats when we were doing pre-production and just seeing how like this whole group has just become so comfortable with each other and we enjoy talking to each other is just great to have this kind of community, and I'm really excited to see where this goes and where the future of this campaign and this channel goes.
Yeah, and shortly thereafter we had Dan Hodge come in. We had Lance Dice Knight and Ducky and Hikaru and now
big shout out to Dice Knight. Like they've been like Lance is just
the other Lance, not me.
Yeah.
Not Lance a lot, just Lance.
Lance and Daniel Hodge have just been incredible to have like the platform that they have, and the fact that they were the both of them are so supportive to like give us like not only like give us shout outs but also like go on interviews and talking about his voice acting career, and then also having us linked in the description of that. Like it's just insane. Like
just helping the community grow, and like I never imagined that we would ever start off with such incredible guests, like GM Jerry, Dan Hodge, and Lance. Like got incredibly lucky, and a million thanks out to those guys.
I want to make a special note that this probably wouldn't have been easy for us if it had not been for Cybus and the people of the Forbidden Library to keep pushing us to stay motivated on this, or else we probably would have been discouraged several times during production, that it would have been just too much to handle. Like we have so much to set up, we have so much to work on, we have so many meetings we got to schedule, and it was so much. It almost turned into just like let's just play D&D and not make it this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, because like it was I remember the 3 of me, you, and Eggy talking about whether or not we're actually going to continue this, and then Cybus came in and was like, "Look, we'll give you a platform. You can go here. We'll give you people who are willing to work and help and support this," and then we decided we would go forward going by ourselves, so everybody who's even shown a little bit of support to this like has played a huge role.
So, and all our wonderful viewers who stay till like the end of stream, or who just check in every now and then, like I always see like, hey there, Harley.
Harley is a very good friend of mine and Hannah and Alex from my Eris campaign, and they're just so supportive. They just hop into anything D&D related. Harley is just there like, I gotta see this.
And also Jay-Z, the puppet master, man. Of
Oh
course.
yeah,
Yeah.
Puppet man.
I love it, man.
Jay-Z, the actual Jay-Z. Wow.
Yeah. Like, even just like the fact that like Panda and Xander and Opera.
Yes,
like,
Panda's always checking in an opera.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
good.
So
Everybody
speaking of viewers and things like that, this is time to do
Yes.
the reveal.
Mhm.
We have another player, I guess you can say, joining our campaign.
Mm.
Is it Jay-Z?
They will come in whenever. They're free to come in and leave as they go. That's why we have to work on the fly with Aggie and myself, to just make sure whenever they want to come in, that we just open up the floor to them and they come in, and we work around them in real time. But they are. What's up?
we just let them do their thing.
We just let them do their thing. They just come in. We work with this. We work with this person. This I guess this individual. They're going to be a consistent part of every single campaign, and I will guarantee that every single player will meet them, and talk with them.
Is it someone we know?
It could be. Or it could be somebody that's completely strange to you, depending on who you're
Like,
playing.
is this like we're gonna have like another like actual person or like another character, like someone in this Discord?
It is a character. It will just say in the ARC world, it is a single character that is a constant. But the identity is a bit ambiguous.
Okay.
As in, will another human join my Discord?
No, it's the cat.
It's the cat.
It's the cat.
Aggie, I think the suspense is getting a little bit.
All right.
GM Jerry.
No, GM
No.
Jerry is a good guest, obviously.
You
But
guys have seen him before. He actually is the 5th person in the Arcane Recovery little photo of the party.
The wizard.
Oh,
Yes. Now the whole
Gandalf.
point of having the wizard there, in
our
the
Twitch
smoke,
emotes, wizard.
Our
He's our
Twitch
theme. He's our
emotes.
mascot.
is gonna be constant all the time. I can't say much about what he is or who he is. Just know that he will be
Are you-
there.
I don't know. Do we want to say that who he could be played by?
Yes. So
I would
some,
like to know who he could be
someone-
played by.
we have
What
someone
are
cast as the
options?
wizard.
All right. Yes. If you want to say who he could be played by,
Is it Jeff Goldblum?
And be vague. He could. The real answer is that he could be played by anybody.
correct. He could be played by anybody. But let's just say that the person who he would be played by is also old. I guess.
You said it wasn't GM Jerry.
I was thinking the same thing.
Is it Daniel Hodge?
No, I think. All right. Do we want to?
Are they in the Discord?
Are they in the Discord?
Go
They
on.
could. They could be.
They
could not be.
I'm actually
Killing
just
me.
confused now, to be completely honest.
What's that, Egg?
I'm actually just confused now, to be completely honest with you.
Well, this is where the players. It's something that I and Iggy have
Oh,
debated
no.
on.
Stop. Okay.
Now you know.
So,
Okay.
yes, I know exactly what you mean. So,
It's played by
It could-
anybody.
could be anybody.
Could be
absolutely.
anybody at
Oh!
all.
Yes, I'm right.
It
I'm
could
right
be
in my
Jerry,
theory.
It could be you watching right now. It could be your dad if he wants to watch as well. I don't know why he would. Maybe he's into D&D. Maybe it's your great-great-grandfather who's still alive somehow, who's holding on. Who's
Here, alchemy.
Yes. So do we want to tell them about it? So
Yep.
a little bit.
I want to take a guess. I want to take a guess
Take a
before you
guess.
reveal it.
Absolutely, take a guess.
Okay, so I know you guys had mentioned that there was going to be a monetary system. Can someone buy in to be the wizard?
That
Guest
is
star?
the closest guess, but that's still not
That
right.
is a very, very close guess. So, we have turned our campaign into a pay-to-win. I'm just kidding.
No.
All right, so depending on how invested you get into the campaign, we have a very, very interesting character that is a constant across all the ARC universes, or all the ARC timelines and campaigns. And you, as a viewer, can actually help out the players that you get invested in. Now, it's not required. We're not having this be an important mandatory thing. If you are very emotionally vested in a certain character and you want to see them persevere to the end, you can go ahead and pay an amount of bits to have different effects come up. Everything from just 100 bits to support the stream, all the way to perhaps giving a self-insert of a character, level 5 character, into our world. Kind of tell us what their cadence is, what kind of voices they have, or perhaps you want to give somebody divine inspiration, or maybe you want to play little pranks on the characters. Maybe there's a character that has something coming to them that hasn't been delivered in a long time. Caspian.
No.
And they absolutely need to get what they deserve. You can spring a mimic on him for 2,000 bits. And we have so many
Level
more,
3.
all in between the first 100 bits all the way up to 10,000. Whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you as the viewers if you want to interact with the gameplay in a way.
Damn.
So
And this is all done through the wizard.
The wizard, he is known colloquially as the Twitch Wizard, with his purple robes and silver attire.
Twitch witch.
Is that because he's on many drugs, so he's constantly twitching?
Perhaps.
He might be kind of cracked out.
So this is something. It started originally as an afterthought, which then turned into, let's tie this in entirely. We will be having our own campaign, us as players, but the viewer can now be more involved. Instead of just watching or listening to a D&D campaign on Spotify, you can literally change timelines entirely by bending fate itself through the power of a very powerful wizard who is a constant interplanar, interchronological,
Omnipotent
timeless,
being.
timeless, omnipotent, wise being.
He's not a god. He's something. Nobody knows.
He's a lich.
Maybe
just a crackhead.
I don't even know.
Taking way too much.
And if, I put out little tweezers on Twitter a while back about the ARC alternate reality game where you guys chatted with that wizard.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Very friendly
Oh
photo.
yeah.
So you guys can change and influence our game. This was slightly inspired by GM Jerry's Streamlabs requests, where you can give DM inspiration to enemies and allies alike. Of course, we will have a more regulated version of this. Sometimes they'll have limits. Sometimes it's only redeemable once per campaign, once per day.
Yes, we're not going to let you spring 2,000 mimics in the world because you're a millionaire.
I mean, if I want to.
Yeah, if they want to.
We'll just
I
have to
wouldn't
dot them
know.
around the world.
Just walk them out on some leashes.
Yeah.
The leash is a mimic.
I mean, honestly, if someone was willing to spend that much money, I would just let them TPK us and we
I
just start
would-
over.
I'd be okay with it.
I would prefer to pay for university and play D&D.
Yeah.
So the way this is set up, it's not just for you screwing us over or helping us. This is to support the team and the people that have worked so hard on making this show possible.
Yes.
All of the artists, especially Xander, that has put a lot of.
I blow kisses in your general direction.
Yeah, blow kisses in your general direction.
Don't
So this is
fart in his
to
general
support
direction,
all
that
of.
might
If
be
you
a
wish
turn-off.
to support all of us, you may. There's also a Twitch subscription option. Hopefully soon. Yeah. That is...
Because it's something like this. Just like it's not about money.
Oh,
you know?
obviously not.
Like we're gonna do it either way, and we're gonna have a
Yeah.
blast. But if you guys feel like supporting us and our creative endeavors going forward in the future, we would love to bring you limitless, entertaining combat.
It'd be
combat
hella pog.
Combat.
It would be hella pog. Limitless, entertaining content. You know, if you
Mhm.
guys are looking for another fix, because it's something that we love doing as creators, and if we could support us financially, then that's great. We could invest in better gear and everything,
Mhm.
and to support our artists that deserve it so much. They've been doing everything so far completely voluntarily, so
Mm.
big
One
shout
day,
out.
one day we wanna all play at the same table in real life.
Yeah.
With
Mhm.
all of our actual people there, you know,
hmm
that's the end goal. But,
We're gonna have Giovanni paint us all in person on a
Yeah.
oil.
On oil paintings, and we pose
Oil
on
painting,
couches.
we're gonna-
on the ceiling of whatever room we're in.
Yeah, a mural like Sistine Chapel shit.
And
Yeah.
eventually, you know, after 7 seasons, we'll have one big
7
painting of all of our characters at like one like Last Supper, put up in a museum. But yeah,
Really cool. That'd be really cool to do that.
So
Yeah, Giovanni's like, yeah, it's gonna be about $2,000. You want me to paint 15 characters?
all right, here you go. So yeah, the wizard is Twitch chat itself. He is the tie, the bridge between the real world and our campaign world to influence it, change it, help it, and it'll simultaneously support us and bring up some interesting clippable moments for sure. We don't know really what to expect with it. We haven't given it any sort of trial run at all, so this could
No,
go
we're
We're going
horribly.
in blind.
Really wild
It'll be very
And is he
wild.
played by the DM?
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
he is a bit of a character, is all I will say. And I hope Ryan, when he sees how I play him, that he'll continue that
Yep.
same cadence as a character.
Yep. I think
Mhm.
when it comes to characters that Iggy makes, I feel like I can pick up on their personality pretty
Well, who's to
well.
say we all might play the wizard differently when we all get a chance, because the
That
wizard
is
can be
It's like
whoever he
Doctor
wants.
Who.
Yeah.
Just like different reincarnations of it.
Maybe
You know?
maybe somewhere down the line during like arc 15, the wizard will be the BBEG, and he's working
Mhm.
directly against the party.
Arc
depending on
15,
which one
wow.
of us goes with. Yeah.
Or, you know, in
That's like
Arc 8,
7
it
years.
turns out that after the wizard was actually murdered and Caspian took over as the wizard.
It's old
Yeah, he's
man
evolved.
Caspian.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like that's such a fun way to end this amazing episode of the podcast, is just
You know, if she steps on the right keys, as she often does, my cat could end up playing the wizard as well. Thinking my
I
entire
told you.
yeah.
Told you it was the
But
cat.
yeah, I have to agree that this was one banger of episode. I had a blast with you guys.
I'm so excited for next week.
So,
Mm.
what time are we playing next week?
Let's see here.
All day.
We probably go for the consistent
Sunrise
one.
till sunset.
Same
I
time.
can't do all day.
I think that around the same time we
4
actually
PM BST.
start the podcast.
Except
I'm
we'll
thinking
be
4 p.m. BST.
except we'll be a little bit better prepared and probably start at 10.
Yeah.
Probably hopefully set at 10. So I know that everybody likes to come a little late, so let's go ahead and say that we're going to start at 7 a.m. and then we'll actually end up starting at 10.
Yeah. So if we say
Um,
9, if you say wake up at 9 and try to be here by 9:30, we'll start at
So
10.
if we meet in here for 3:30 p.m. GMT, and then we start by 4.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's about
That's
how
a-
it works.
Yeah. We usually by half an hour.
Round table.
But yeah, I'm so excited. This is gonna
Hey
be
guys,
so
make
cool.
sure if you're watching and you're new, make sure that you don't go support Dragons of the Round Table on Twitch. There are different competitors.
Man, tomorrow you were getting smacked by an iron golem.
Funny you should say that. We're actually about to get smacked by an Iron Golem in Ducky's campaign.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a theme. Maybe your characters just have a personality that invites iron golems.
It does.
And-
The Warlock definitely does.
Underwater.
Underwater.
But yeah,
Well-
no, make sure you go support all our friends, of course.
Mhm.
Without saying, but Dragons of the Round Table, of course, owned by Spencer here.
Because
Super, super
3/5 of the people here are actually
Yes,
on that. And obviously
Um,
Dan was.
Now we just
Yeah,
want to get
really
Cyrus
like-
as a guest on Roundtable.
Yeah. And then
absolutely.
the assimilation will be completed.
We've had
We're being absorbed. It's a gelatinous cube.
How many guests have we had so far on Roundtable? We've had 2, right?
Only
that was
2.
Dan and Luca.
Dan and Luca. Dan, unfortunately, I may have done some uncouth things to his character. We won't mention that.
We won't talk about Garcus. We're
Spencer's an amazing storyteller. Like hands down. Like I love that how everything comes full circle and everything connects really well. And he puts our characters in a lot of very awkward situations.
You haven't seen anything until tomorrow night. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm excited to see what next week brings for us.
Yes, we amazing.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's watching for joining us. This is a slightly longer episode.
A 3-hour version and a 1 hour longer than normal. It's a Meet the Cast extended special.
It felt like half an hour.
Yeah, I had a great time.
How well the cast gel.
Exactly. Well, Orion, do you want to hit us with one of your spicy outros?
Yes, that's how you're going to tell
Don't
that we're
get
going to
blocked.
have a very good campaign. Time will fly by. DM Aggie will make 6-7 hour sessions again because of how quickly things will go by.
I'm trying my hardest to make sure I avoid that. 3 to 4, hopefully.
Viewers, when we get to the 3-hour mark, like
Start spamming the chat.
Yeah.
Start spamming the chat.
Spam.
Like,
Dude,
Egg,
1 hour
stop.
left, Egg.
Egg, stop. I know that they've only moved into one room over the course of 5 hours, but please.
Let them go.
I would like to inspect brick number 13.
I can't be fully to blame for that, right? I mean, sometimes characters like to get a little crazy and talk to each other. But anyway,
Yeah.
go on, Orion.
Yeah. I have learned to interrupt my characters talking because the action in the world around them won't wait for them to finish their conversation.
It's like something will happen whilst we're talking.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thanks everyone so much for listening to our short rest. I hope you enjoyed your healing.
Jazz hands.
Should we roll hit dice for our short rest now that we have all of our characters here? Want to see how much HP we gain back?
All right.
I got my D8 right here.
Bard hit die. Yeah, right.
I believe I'm a D6.
I think Bard's a D8.
Let's see. I get 2 sets of
embarrassing.
short rest
You're not
dice.
D6, so you're a D8 for Druid.
Yeah.
Sick.
I think
Bard's
we're
D8 as well.
all D8s.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Are we actually all D8s? That's
Andre's
crazy.
D4 and D6. No, he's 2 D6s. Sorry, D6. Gotta get my square
Only
boy.
wizards and sorcerers have D6. Everyone else has D8s.
Yes,
Fighters have a D10 and barbarians got a D12.
All right, everybody roll.
Yep.
Yep.
Ready to roll. Add your con mod. How much HP did we recover today during this podcast?
Ooh.
I got 6 hit points back.
I
I got
three.
2.
I got 5.
I got the most. Oh,
That's
me and me
six.
tied.
Jesus, I got 2.
That was terrible on my part. 3.
Well-
Well, that is a bad sign of things to come.
All right.
So I appreciate everybody here. Thank you all so much for watching or
Appreciate you
listening. If you are listening on Spotify, go ahead and check us out on our Linktree /Arcane Recovery. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, and we're come watch our campaign and mess with us with bid donations.
Kill Caspian.
We're on YouTube.
Yes, we're on
We're
TikTok
on
and YouTube.
Spotify.
Spotify.
On
Everywhere.
If it's a social media, we're there.
Everywhere where we can spread our influence and hopefully
I want to grind it.
We could.
We can.
I mean, if we really want to, we could.
We could have, you have that profile where you have 5 people on Grinder, and they,
All right, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you put your number.
Let's
Yeah.
go ahead. Let's go ahead and make a Christian mingle as well.
You can tell.
Farmers
Grindr,
only.
Tinder,
We're on farmersonly.com.
Match.
Yes, we're on farmersonly.com. That is right.
Not sponsored, at least not yet.
We are. How do I want to do this? It sounds so stupid.
We'll save it after this show's over.
Yeah.
You know what? So go follow us on social medias. Come back next week, May 8th, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time for our 4-hour premiere of Session 0 of Campaign 1 of ARC. See you all next week.
Arcane
Recovery Short Rest Podcast.
Podcast.
Bigger than the biggest game and surely to
Surely
outlast.
to last.
Goodbye, everybody. We're
Come
leaving it
along
here now.
and sing this song and roll
God
the
bless.
dice with
My
us.
ears,
later.
my ears are bleeding.
Arcane Recovery
It's
Short
now.
Rest Podcast.
Bye.
These every nights after the big boss
I'm
fight.
really short now.